Movie magic, people. This is what it's all about. Movie magic.
Hell yeah.
Welcome to group chat here, everybody. Bonus episode for my millions of Patreon subscribers.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Wow.
It won't be on Patreon. I don't have a Patreon, but it'll be. Think about if you gave me money, you could get this free content, but you pay for it. So think about that when I launch it. Think about.
I'm terribly flattered to be paid content.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think
No,
I've
it's nice to be like the bait to get you to give money to
Yeah.
the Robbie Goodwin Enterprises.
Robbie Goodwin Enterprises. Our slogan is, we are not a child sex ring.
It's a good slogan.
Yeah. I want to make sure people know. It's hard in this day and age. I'm here with, there was a movie that came out, folks, that made me, I had to call an emergency broadcast due to the discourse.
Big deal for film fans.
Big deal.
Huge deal.
And I recruited two of the premier film heads in the Brooklyn open mic community.
Shut up. I do some Manhattan shows sometimes.
I was in Astoria last week.
All right, forgive me. 3 out of the 5 boroughs are covered between us.
Sorry, Staten Island.
No,
I'm not
good.
taking a ferry to do 7 minutes of comedy.
Whoa, what am I supposed to take a ferry to go do some comedy?
This is actually the material I do in Brooklyn.
I call Brooklyn Staten Island East. That is something else. Dude, I'm at Frank DeRuggiero is here.
Hello.
A true paisan.
Hey.
And Andrew Durso. Are you Italian?
No, I'm not. I'm primarily German.
Oh,
if
well,
anything.
get the fuck out.
Sorry,
So
dude.
you hated that scene where De Niro killed those World War II guys?
All right, before we start the podcast off, I just want to take a roll call with all the guests and the host. Are we fucking Team Marvel or Team Scorsese? Where are we at, boys?
Oh, yeah, I'm here to discuss. The movie I'm talking about is Avengers Endgame and Spider-Man Far From Home. And
There are no bathroom breaks. Oh, my God. I hate The Irishman for being 3 hours, but I love Infinity War for being 3 hours.
Yeah. Scorsese should have some comic relief in there, like the Hulk taking a selfie.
Yeah, you should have.
Now that's fun.
Right. He should have a character be like, Houston, we have a Thor. Or like,
Or Paul Rudd going, I tried to. Wow, because stuttering is comedy. I actually like that movie. I don't know. It's the fanboys' fault for putting me on the defensive.
I think fucking there's just like, where's your expectation that this old ass guy is like these superhero movies?
Yeah.
Well, it's like, it's fine.
To be fair,
I'm sorry I started us off on this
No,
because
no.
it's been like, well,
I have to go write some tweets. I got to get going.
well, it's just like also a thing like with like Marvel fans. It would be totally fine if they were like, listen, I just kind of like superhero movies. I don't give a shit about like what cinema or whatever is. Like that would be like fine, but they're just like, no. If you look at the mise-en-scene of Ant-Man compared to the Age of Innocence, what you will.
Dude, my favorite is like when that dumb like state of comedy debate was going on. They're like, how could the state of comedy be bad when we have Thor Ragnarok? It's like, even if you like Thor Ragnarok, you shouldn't hold that up as like the great comedy.
Well, it's like that's the thing. Well, it's like what people talk about with the Joker movie, where it's just like we're gonna reach a point where if you want to make like a genre film, there's gonna have to be some superhero shit in it.
Yeah.
I mean, like even like people have like fucking made this joke already, but like even like the first 2.5 hours of The Irishman, which I did love, are kind of just like Infinity War if your name is Rocco.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it's just
It is
all
kinda
your
like
favorite shit collected.
I was gonna say, it is the Avengers for dads. You know what I mean? Like-
Right.
It's really very exciting. Just one at a time. They show up. I wish they would. I wish they would merchandise this movie like they do.
Yeah.
I want Funko Pop vinyls.
Yeah, there have to be like you see people like wearing those like snapbacks with
Sally
the
Bugs.
Punisher on them.
a Deadpool shirt, but it's Joe Pesci's face. I am going to be I'm putting the last of my money into a t-shirt that just says, I'd rather be watching The Irishman. And I'll be selling them on Canal Street.
See, the thing about me is I know I'm in the movie, and that's where the comedy comes from.
Man, Italian people are so funny. Sorry, Frank, but I walk around Canal
all right.
Street at Little Italy. Maybe it's actually more of a foreign tourist funny thing, and they're like, "Oh, Italian people," and you see those shirts that just say "Fuck you, you fucking fuck." It's like, who is buying that shirt?
I buy that one every time I get a haircut.
Yeah.
It's still there.
Well, it's cold now, so you're wearing 4 of them.
Cut to Frank at home, just single tear throwing away his Godfather T-shirts. Dude, I went to Little Italy in Philly. My friend Brendan took me, and the first thing I see was a pizzeria with a huge Gotti poster in the window.
Have you seen the movie Gotti?
We threw a party and watched it in VR.
Is that there's a VR version of it?
No, there's not. But we thought you
Yeah.
can watch any movie.
Yeah,
in
when you
VR.
turn around, you can see E from Entourage behind the camera directing it.
He's like, the mise en scène. Good news. Travolta can do the movie.
Dude, Travolta had like a year last year for just insane like shooting for the stars, like Oscar bait performances. He was in that Fred Durst movie. Which
I
saw.
heard that's actually a great bad movie.
It's
Do you think that's him shooting for the stars?
he's like doing like a real fucking like capital P performance.
Oh,
like he's
no.
like
Hell
like
yeah.
wig, like weird glasses, like all that. Like it's like it's clearly supposed to be like a transformative Oscar performance. It's like it's a really offensive portrayal of like I don't know what the correct term would be, like the proper term, but somebody on the spectrum.
Oh,
And
he's autistic. Oh, fuck yeah.
it's like it's fucking real. But and like I watched this movie. I watched a Q&A after with John Travolta and Fred Durst, and the character's name is Moose. And at one point, John Travolta says, "Well, the key to Moose is there's a little moose in all of us." It's just like this. It's like, yeah,
I know you mean you watched that Q&A digitally, but I love the thought of you at a live screening of the
Right.
nervously waiting to
I'm
ask
enough
Fred
of a Durst head. I'm very vocal about my Limp Bizkit apologism, so if anyone's going to that.
We did this film. It was a passion project. We didn't just do it for the nookie. Right? Folks, remember the aughts? What a great time.
There you go.
Hey,
Best. I think the saddest Travolta was when he revealed his shaved head look by doing. He went to the New Beverly when Pulp Fiction was screening, and he was doing it, and he took a picture of himself doing a bald-headed dab outside of Pulp Fiction at the New Beverly.
Was he invited to it, or did he just show
He
up?
was outside the theater, so I don't think he even went in.
He showed up, hit his mark.
I'll bet he calls Tarantino just like, "Hey, Quinn, you think about putting me in one of your new movies?" And he's like, "Yeah, all right." I bet Tarantino screens his calls now. Like, that's fucking Travolta again.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Yeah, he hears a plane outside. And he's like, "Oh no!" It's my amateur pilot friend, John.
I'm
Travolta.
sorry. I caught a case of Saturday Night Fever. I gotta go. Yeah, so I just wanted to do, two of my favorite film heads. I follow Andrew on Letterboxd. I checked to see if he gave The Irishman more than 3 stars, and he did. So he got booked on this podcast.
I gave it 4, which is it's a high 4. It's very close.
You're hard to
4.5.
please. I've never seen you give a 5.
A 5. I have to sit with the movie for a while before I give it. I probably I sound like the biggest asshole right now. Like, no, you should really work to impress me, a fucking low-level stand-up comedian.
Yeah. No, but like movies are like they are your time. Like it's not like, you know what I mean. Like you are.
Yeah, no, I like build up like a personal connection to it and shit, and like then again, like I could see this if I sit with it long enough. I could see this like honestly becoming a 5. It's just like that was like my reaction, like coming right out of it.
Yeah, I gave it a 5, like which I don't usually give something a 5. I think I gave Hollywood, which is my Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which is like my favorite of the year. I think I gave it like a 4, 4.5 at first, but then I sat with it, as you said. Now it's more of a 5er.
Yeah, well,
This
I think
one I was like masterpiece. Like I really thought that when I came out of the movie, and maybe just because I wanted to justify sitting through a 3.5 hour long movie in the theater. But
it's like that's the fucking thing. Like people complained about the length, but like I fucking loved how long it was.
Well,
it's just like you could like. If you're not into it, like, you could point out things where it's like, oh, you could take out that fish scene in the car. But, like, if you show me that, like, fish scene and you were, like, put a gun to my head and you were, like, figure out parts of the scene to take out and be like, you have to fucking shoot me because this is all amazing.
Yeah.
I'm typically a, like what you like sort of person. I don't know what it is about hearing an adult say any movie is too long sends me into a fury.
I know.
It enrages me.
I know.
Like, my reaction is somebody saying, I don't want to see the movie, it's too long. I'm like, fucking grow up. I just get real mean, like, right away.
Yeah.
I don't say
Yeah.
it, but, like, in here, it like, sends something behind my eyes. That said, I want all more fish scenes. I love shit like the fish scene.
All that shit is so good.
Just-
There are like so many small dialogue scenes I like rewound a bunch. Because,
Yeah. I
like-
think it's actually great for Netflix because when I was rewatching, when I was in the theater, there was a lot of. It started off. I felt like it was very slow when I was first watched it, and I was like, well, at least at the beginning, I was like, because it's like a lot of like driving and trucks and just like weird conversations you can't really grasp. When I was rewatching on Netflix, first of all, he sets up so goddamn much in that first act that you don't realize until you rewatch it. Have you guys rewatch? I know Andrew, you didn't have time to rewatch it.
Yeah, I just saw it once.
So I didn't. You pick up on so many like. He says it is what it is in the first act. We'll be spoiling The Irishman, by the way, if you are listening this far. But he says it is what it is. He brings up the topic of like loyalty. Like Joe Pesci saves Frank's life in the first, like the whole ending. There's so much foreshadowing in like the first third, and also like a great thing about these movies that same thing with Hollywood a little bit that are like longer is that you kind of experience so much with these characters that when you rewatch it, it's like, oh shit, like it's way more rewarding. It feels like because it's like if the movie's good, and you feel like and like these characters, it's like I'm more hooked off the bat on the rewatch.
Yeah, well, I mean,
what I mean?
this seems like such an obvious comparison, like to make, but it's kind of honestly reminds me a little bit of The Sopranos in the way that they'll just like call back something from 2 seasons earlier. It's just like, oh, you don't remember that scene with like Tony's friend that owns the restaurant? Too bad, because we're fucking calling back to a 2-year-old.
Yeah, and what's also about it's also a great comparison. I actually think it's a better comparison like to The Sopranos than even to like Goodfellas.
Yes,
it feels more like Sopranos and Goodfellas to me.
Well, I mean, like Goodfellas is like, I love Goodfellas. It's a great movie.
Yeah,
That's
one of
like
my
more of a
favorites.
movie about like straight up like hubris, I guess.
Yeah.
And like The Irishman is about just like fucking like entropy. It's about death.
It's
like,
about it's sad, it's static, and it's about characters and relationships. I mean, Goodfellas is also about great characters and relationships, but Goodfellas is like fun. Goodfellas is pure
Goodfellas
fun.
pops more.
Yeah,
like, it's
fun to watch. I mean, like people. I'm
it's
kind
the
of
difference
I'm all over the place
between
now.
a Dave Attell and a Mike Birbiglia.
All right, I like Irishman more than Mike Birbiglia. What I should have said was, "I'm killing you, Jimmy." But fuck yeah, yeah. So I feel like a lot of the reaction to this movie is like people like. Because I think The Irishman's pretty subversive because I think people were expecting Goodfellas again, and he gave you like this long, not poppy thing, and people are like, "Whoa, that means he must have lost it. He can't." But it's like he did make Goodfellas pretty recently. Like Wolf of Wall Street is basically Goodfellas again, and I love both movies. But like clearly, because like the Goodfellas is all about, hey, guess what? I did this crazy shit, and you're not gonna fucking believe it. And this movie's like, boy, I made a lot of mistakes in my life. Boy, oh boy.
Well, it's like we talk about the length. I'm stealing this take from somebody. I saw somebody online, right? Like people are this movie is like an old man grappling with his fear of death, and people are asking him like, keep it to 90 minutes. Like I'm paraphrasing someone's like tweet right there.
No, but I think that's a great point because it feels like the length contributes to the fact that it feels like a lifetime. It feels like you do spend a lifetime with De Niro and his friends.
Right, these are like really fucking rich characters by the time you leave the movie.
Yes, everything about it's very rich, like the detail and the dialogue and the setting and everything. And so that makes that last half hour so powerful because like, yep, I'm about to die. Oh, I'm about to die. You know?
It's just like that scene where like people are like the FBI agents are talking to him and they're like, everybody you know is dead now. There's like no reason to hold on to this. Like you're about to die. Just like give us some names. He's like, can't help you.
Yeah,
it's like so like it's so good.
That's gonna be me right before I quit comedy. Oh boy.
Nah, I'm gonna sell out all my fellow open micers immediately.
Just give us a few names. Who bombed on those bar shows? Can't tell you. I'm gonna sell you out. Great De Niro faces in this movie. Just
He does
purely.
so many of them.
That's like the thing. It's like if you want to dunk on this movie, one thing you could say is like the first scene I saw him with the young CGI, he did kind of a Polar Express face. I eventually got over it, but like the weird thing about it is it's like young De Niro, but he's got like old De Niro mannerisms.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
very eerie.
His body is
He's
still
freaky.
old.
Yeah.
That first scene it looks the worst in the first scene,
Yes.
so it's super jarring, I think. And I was wondering if it was like it gets better as it goes and you just get used to it, so it just feels like it's the
And
worst.
that's because in that one you're seeing that and the blue eyes out of nowhere at the
Yeah.
same time. It's like, yeah,
yeah. And I do think it's the worst because it's also like you see him at his oldest and then suddenly he's at his youngest, and I think it meets in the middle somewhere where it's like more realistic.
Yeah.
That first scene, it's just ridiculous. It is ridiculous.
Right, because like fucking young Robert De Niro was on record as like he was in movies, and like young Robert De Niro was like kind of a hunk.
Yeah,
Like,
he's good
like,
looking.
He's like a hot fella.
Yeah, 20 years ago he looked like Cape Fear, and he looks great in that. He looks fucking
Yeah,
awesome.
Yeah, is
in
he
that.
all fucking jacked in that movie?
Yeah, you're right. The first scene he looks like old De Niro, but just smoother. Like someone just airbrushed him.
Yeah, he looks like old De Niro, but through that like face app.
Yeah.
The Russians have fucking all of his data now.
When I first heard about the movie, I was like, wait, so you're using this insane CGI technology, but he just looks like 10 years younger? Like I can.
Meet
I
the
used
parents
to
De Niro.
I used this app to find out what I look like with a goatee.
Oh, so that's what I look like in Meet the Fuckers. Okay. All right.
Just when I'm a little cat. Kitty cat with big eyes.
Did you guys watch the after show, the Irishman after show?
It
Talking
autoplay.
Irish?
Talking Irish,
Talking
yeah.
Irish.
Hey, I'm Chris Hardwick, and welcome back to Talking Paisans, Talking Wops.
What after show?
Yeah. It's called Discussing the Irishman or something, and it's just I don't have too much to say about it, but it's so awesome because it's all four of them at a restaurant. It's De Niro, Pacino, Pesci, and Scorsese all talking, and they're just all at a restaurant, and they're all drinking, and they just talk about the movie, and it's so fucking great.
This is a recurring dream that I
It's like what we're doing right now, kind of. We're just like those
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah, the power brokers of the New York crime scene.
have. We should have done this at the back booth at Rao's.
Yeah, we go to that White Castle down the street.
We're
Hey.
nearby the.
Well, hey, you want clam strips? I got.
Hey, take the gun, leave this sliders. I'm so sorry.
I heard you eat onion rings.
Oh, I mean, like only 3 people in the world have one of these onion rings.
But what's so great about it is De Niro, Pacino, and Pesci all seem like very old men. But Marty is the same since the night. He's just like, okay, so here's how we made the movie. It's pretty amazing. It's really crazy what we did. What we did was, and this is what's great. It's just like he's like,
The
dude.
last of the cocaine's finally getting out of his
Yeah, it feels like, did this guy need cocaine? Yeah.
He's just gonna like stop. He's just gonna
Yeah.
shut
Well, if you
down.
look at like fucking old photos of him, he looks like a fucking coke dealer. Like
Yeah, yeah.
he looks like fucking like a lithe Jerry Garcia, like a Jerry Garcia that does CrossFit or something.
You know, I think he's aged into his looks a little bit because he kind of looked like he looked like a little Charles Manson kind of when he was like a
Yes,
kid.
yes,
Yeah.
he did look a little
Shaggy.
Charles Manson.
Yeah. Pesci looks alright.
I thought
I
Pesci
didn't
kind of
know-
looks bad.
I couldn't tell.
Pesci just looks how a
He looks like
fucking
he-
guy that age should
like he
look.
oughta
Yeah,
look.
yeah.
That's
A
what I
guy
mean.
who looks like that should look at that age.
Yeah, yeah.
It still looks. You can still recognize him. I didn't know. Did they do it at all on him in the movie?
Yeah, in the truck scene.
Okay.
yeah.
I didn't even really notice it.
I thought Pesci was almost seamless. It was just
Yeah.
De Niro, maybe just because he had so much more screen time that really
Yeah,
it
it
stands
could be.
out only in that truck. I got so used to it. But I think Joe Peshturno, that's my new character, Joe Peshturno. Hey, I don't care if you molesting these kids. Who cares? We gotta win football games.
Oh my fucking
I
god.
guess that's what that would be.
Yeah, thank you.
What else would Joe Peshturno be?
Yeah.
But that.
Jerry Sandusky is the other guy. You can't. What's the deal with all these kids? I think I've done that character on a. Anyway, let's move on. But I love that he brings Pesci out of retirement to play this super understated character when his like defining role is like this screaming wild card guy
Yeah.
in fucking like he's kind of a silent devil.
Yeah,
in
he's the most
Irishman.
subdued. And meanwhile, man, if you want an actor that's just playing his hits, the god himself, Al Pacino,
Oh,
I think
man.
I think he's the MVP.
he is
so funny.
yeah.
He's so fucking funny and great at acting in the same scene. Remember that scene where he's yelling at everyone and De Niro's like, I don't need this, and he walks out, he's like, wait a minute, come back. That shit's so funny.
I watched that scene like a million times. Like this, like that. Like there's this like pause he takes where he just like slaps he's like the thing you, and then like he slaps the desk and like he like just stews for 10 seconds and he just goes, motherfuckers need to realize.
Yeah.
This isn't from this movie, but I like in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and he goes, the 14 fists of McCluskey.
Yeah.
Like that. I read an article about him, it was an interview with him and De Niro, and you know, like for all of the early 2000s, he would just be in like 88 minutes and
he's
goes straight to I read that he did those movies just to like see if he could. Like, he would read them and go, "This is a shitty movie. I'm going to see if I can make it like all right."
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
And
it's
he would,
like kind
sadistically take these parts.
Have you heard the story about him and Jack and Jill?
No.
So he has a huge. Have you guys seen Jack and Jill?
I've seen his
I've
scenes
seen
from Jack.
He is
Jill.
a big.
They're very funny.
He is legitimately great in.
They're very funny.
He's great in it.
Yeah. It's
But
just like
apparently-
the Dunkachino scene where he's like, nobody must see this.
Yeah, nobody's got. You got to burn this. He commits. He's not phoning it in.
Yeah.
De Niro phones it in a lot. Pacino fucking
Dude,
commits.
well, like that's also like kind of De Niro will still kind of do a thing sometimes when he has to act, but like Al Pacino's just like playing what Al Pacino's best at.
Yeah.
He just shows up now in movies for like 5 minutes, be like, listen, you're a nice kid. I gotta go beat it, and it rules.
Well, apparently, so Robert Smigel told a story where apparently Pacino called him up in the middle of the night while they're making Jack and Jill, and he goes, "I've cracked it. I'm Don Quixote." And Smigel goes, "Oh yeah, sure, call Sandler." And then
Cracked it.
he goes, "Yeah." Apparently at the table where it's Norm Macdonald told the story. Like Al Pacino was like looking at his character, and he's like, "All right, so Jill, what do I want? What do I want?" Like he's like coaching himself for his like he's really trying so hard during the Jack and Jill fucking table read. Like he's like, "What's my motivation? What am I doing? What do I want? I want you."
That's the most endearing thing I've ever heard.
I know, isn't that great? I mean, but it's funny because like it is a weird parallel because like De Niro and Pacino were both in Heat, and then they both did like self-parody for like 20 years now, 22.
Well, they were
And then
also in that fucking movie that nobody gives a shit about.
Oh,
Like
right,
that
right.
Righteous Kill movie.
I was home for Thanksgiving. I found a Righteous Kill DVD, like collecting dust. in
Should
a
I watch
corner.
it? Have you guys seen that?
Yeah, it's
Well,
bad.
It's just apparently like a who gives a shit like crime procedural movie.
It's a very
Yeah.
run-of-the-mill movie that they somehow got them to be. in.
Right, yeah. No, if it was like made in the '90s, it would have a name like Once Upon a Kill or something, and it would like star fucking Ashley Judd.
Yeah, Die With Me.
And it's very clear that they spent a lot to get those two because the rest of the cast is like 50 Cent, John Leguizamo, Donnie Wahlberg.
I love that mid-aughts huge trend of just casting rappers in gritty crime dramas. They don't do that enough anymore. I don't see enough Chris Ludacris Bridges in the titles of posters anymore. But
It's been a while.
But yeah, so then they did that, but then they both this year had supporting roles in very acclaimed movies, and then this team up. That's great.
Yeah. What was De Niro? I can't believe
De
I'm
Niro was
blanking
in
out.
Joker, which is his highest grossing film of all time.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Hello, don't joke with me, Joker.
Yeah, he's also kind of phoning it in that one, to be honest.
I actually thought he was trying.
He's like not. You don't see him sweating, I guess, and like I don't know. Maybe it's just because like the standard for this conversation is Pacino going like out of his fucking mind. Like I can't recognize.
Well,
like,
he also doesn't yell that much in Once Upon a Time, but Pacino.
he's still got his like gruff going.
Yeah.
though.
I love that stuff. I love that movie. But I mean, I will say, like, even if you didn't love De Niro and Joker, it is still heads and tails above almost everything else he's put out. Like, I guess Silver Linings Playbook.
Silver Linings Playbook. He's kind of trying it.
He's kind of. I guess he's fun in American Hustle for that one scene.
I've not seen American Hustle actually.
He has one scene
It was
in
a
it.
good time.
I think it's fun. People hate it, but I think it's supposed to be silly and cheesy. It was dumb that it was like such Oscar bait, but it was like it was fun. I mean, it was trying to be a comedy. I think.
Yeah.
It's
All I
good.
know is it's like considered like an everyone's wearing a wig type movie.
It is, yeah.
they-
But that's
they're very
what.
much
But I
wearing
think it
wigs.
kind of knows that. It's like, yeah, we're wearing wigs and having fun. Like that's what. The problem was just like it was like the Oscar voters like kind of were like, this is a great film, but it's great if you like accept it as like a silly comedy kind
Yeah.
of. It's like a good, like funny movie ish or
I
whatever.
think it'll catch a second wind in like 5 years. People
American
will start
Hustle?
watching it, getting drunk. It's going to be at the Yeah, I'm gonna draft
Yeah.
ass.
I mean, just like industry-wise, I think nobody likes that guy either. Like
David O. Russell.
He's
Oh,
like
yeah.
apparently like if you've seen that like footage of him freaking out
I
and
can't
like
watch
High
something
Hard
like that.
Huckabee.
Yeah, he
it's-
seems like
I
a
have-
maniac. There's so
I
many.
It's
no stomach.
insane.
I have
He
no
like
stomach for
loses
shit
his
like that.
fucking mind. It's like the Christian Bale thing like multiplied by 5.
Yeah,
It's
he's like
crazy.
that. And the other thing is like, there's so many hidden asshole. You can get away with so much bad behavior in Hollywood that if it leaks out that you're an asshole to work with to like the public, you must be horrible. I'm
Yeah.
serious, like, because every director is kind of a dickhead, or a lot of them are, and there's like a lot of behaviors like tolerated, just because like. I mean, I agree with this to some level. Like, you gotta kind of let the painter paint and excuse some bad behavior, but it's so hidden that if it gets out to the public that you are a horrible person to work with, it's just like, damn, you must be a fucking horrible person. Like, who are the like? I heard Fincher's like that. Whatever. We don't need to gossip, but you know, it's just like, you know.
Max Landis.
Oh, I was just dude. He
Oh,
posted.
he's just a piece of shit.
Yeah.
He's just like a really
yeah, he's
bad
not like a
person.
bad guy to work with. He's just a rapist.
Yeah, he's just like a fucking straight up bad guy.
and that auteur theory.
Actually, really nice on set.
yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, he didn't rape me.
It's weird. It's the only positive blind item I've ever read.
You know what's great is Max Landis is trying to like, he's been posting on Instagram a lot lately, and he's like pivoting back to woke. Like, he's like trying to be like, this is such a great time for representation in movies and comics, because he's talking about like he's a big Watchmen fan or whatever, and it's like, Max, who is this for? Nobody. You're not getting any points for this.
Right, well, it's
You're
like
not-
that, and like I feel like he was also kind of a laughing stock for all the shit went down because he made that like fucking ogre cop movie
Yeah,
for
right.
Netflix,
Which-
which like
He
That's really
tweeted
funny.
in like after he was like shitting on Force Awakens when that came out, and he said, "My newest screenplay, Bright, if made correctly, has potential to be my Star Wars."
Jeez. Well, it's like, dude, that's like fucking. If that movie was like made in 1996, like a Will Smith ogre cop movie, it would have like bankrupted a studio.
Yeah,
and now
yeah.
that just gets to be like one of a billion.
Just
Like, who
dumped.
gives a shit Netflix movies?
And it got a sequel.
They get a sequel?
It's coming out.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and like Max, like Max Landis is like one of my most top 5 hated people in the world. I mean, he's a fucking psycho, but
Yeah.
but I'm also fascinated with him because anyway, but he's so bad that I was watching Trading Places. And it almost ruined the movie for me because I hate Max Landis so much. I'm like, God, John Landis must be a piece of shit too.
Well, I mean, like John Landis has like 2 fucking bodies on his record.
Oh yeah, he killed
Yeah.
he killed like children.
Yes, it's like fucking makes this shit real hard to
Dude,
watch.
you know what? I was
That thing's wild.
researching someone like I was like going down a rabbit hole of that story because it's insane. If you guys don't know about the Twilight Zone deaths, but who doesn't? John Landis was like supervising and coked up, and like a fucking helicopter fell and killed the actor and the 2 kids. John Landis wanted to keep the footage in the movie or finish the
Oh
segment.
no!
Oh my fucking god!
And Spielberg was like, no.
Right? Yeah.
He was
well,
like,
it's
it'll be a tribute. And the other thing was,
Well, it's like he's he's lucky that they didn't take it out of the fucking movie, that
Yeah.
entire segment.
I was also reading like there was someone on Reddit like, yeah, my dad was a grip on that movie or something. He was like one of the only guys who was like they were trying to like strong arm everyone against testifying against Landis at the trial, and he testified and they blackballed him from the industry. And I looked up this guy's IMDb, and that's his last credit.
Oh my god!
That's spooky.
Yeah, is
Uh.
that?
Well, it's like
one
those
could say
like
it's kind of a Twilight Zone story.
well, it's like those like you read about like Mira Sorvino, like she like won a fucking Oscar and like she spoke out against like fucking Harvey Weinstein and like fucking her career just like ended after winning a fucking Oscar in like '96.
Oh yeah, that's what. Yeah, I mean Hollywood also still sucks for a lot of reasons.
Yes.
But you know what sucks is like the people who are victimized are also unlikable a lot of times. Not the women, but I was thinking about like the
Oh, boy.
the assistant.
Oh boy.
No, like there's this big assistant thing now. Have you guys heard about this movement? It's called Pay Up Hollywood, and it's about like how assistants are like are mistreated and don't get paid enough.
I may have
Or-
seen something about that.
So
Sounds
the
familiar.
assistant, their big thing is like, all of us are getting support from our parents. It's like, what an unlikable route to go down. You know what I mean?
Why did they say that? They said that
Their argument was like, well, we're not making enough. We have to get support for our parents. But it's
Oh,
just like,
okay.
well, you guys now just look like a bunch of rich kids.
Right.
Yeah. And I'm just saying, like, and I worked briefly in that industry, and yeah, they do treat assistants really, really badly. But then a lot of the other assistants like suck ass. Like, can you imagine wanting to get into that side of the industry? Like, oh, I'm not creative, but I want to be around these things. If any assistants are listening right now, I take it all back, and I love you. And please, I need a break. I really need one.
Yeah, so forward some of those parent checks to Robbie Goodwin.
Yeah. Thank you.
To get this extra Irishman episode on the Patreon.
Yeah. Oh,
behind the paywall.
Real quick, also, but one last thing about Max Landis. So he posted a whole thing today on Instagram that was like, I've learned a lot from this whole thing, and anyway, I'm also like in therapy and volunteering. So if anyone wants to volunteer with me, hit me up. It's like, who the fuck is volunteering with Max Landis? Yeah, I want to volunteer. What volunteering for? What? Volunteering to help me write Bright 3.
Yeah,
just general volunteering. Like,
yeah,
what
just get
the
him
fuck?
Fiji waters or some shit.
Like, not even like advertising a particular charity he's working with. Just like, I'm volunteering, so hit me up.
Somewhere, I'll volunteer somewhere. One of these places. One of these days.
Yeah. It's just like it's WGA signal boost. I'd like to volunteer somewhere.
Yeah. I like hit him up. It's like, all right, so we're volunteering for the Kamala Harris campaign. Take that, Kamala.
You have to do a dance to a drum line for twice a week for a viral video.
And I got high hopes.
So.
Oh, Max actually would be a Mayor Pete guy.
Yeah.
For sure.
Oh, my God.
I take it back. Max is Mayor Pete. Just like this, like, oh, look at me, everybody. I'm a sociopath.
I've only ever seen the video of that dance without sound. I still don't know what's the song that goes.
Oh, you gotta fucking turn the song on. It's
what is it?
It's
Oh,
Panic
man.
at the Disco with
Yeah,
their
man.
most emo. Remember they were an emo band? They just all sound like Maroon 5 now.
Well, it's like, isn't
Fall
like
Out
the
Boy and Panic at the
Isn't
Disco.
the thing about them like that? Like they were signed before even playing a live gig, even though like the lyrics to that song are like, "Man, even when I was down in the dumps, I always had a dream. Working as a young assistant in Hollywood, receiving checks from my parents."
Yeah, dude, that was like when Lady Gaga at the last Oscars, and Lady Gaga's very talented. I actually like her, but she goes up there and she's like, "I struggle too. Follow your dreams." It's like, I read an article where you were signed in your senior year at NYU because you had a thesis on being famous. Or a story like that. Like she was like, I know it too. My freshman and sophomore year, my roommates didn't believe in me. But that junior year, I made a lot of money. So you can do it too. And I'm just like at an open mic, like, oh my God, I just want to fucking drink.
I fucking Also, this is off track from anything, but that fucking High Hopes dance, I have one big gripe I actually want to get out on air about it, which is the last move is bullshit. Because the first three moves are just like basic hand jive
they're
stuff.
so funny.
Yeah, they're just like basic doing the hand jive grease shit. Then at the end, you just wave your shit around. Like, there's no fucking coordination.
Yeah, Adam Friedland posted a video of him doing the dance, and I knew about that before I knew about the actual dance. And I was like, this is a hilariously bad dance you made up. But it turns out he was just doing the dance. Like, the hand waving is the funniest part.
You gotta have
I mean, that is white
I
people.
think the absence of sound adds something to it. I laugh every time I
Yeah.
Dude, you know what? I used to be where you were. I watched that video without sound at work for 3 hours straight, just going through my feed. And then once I got home, I popped the earbuds in. It enhances the experience.
I wonder why Mayor
Take
Pete
your
doesn't
word
have
for
any
it.
black support. I mean, a dance? a choreographed dance to Panic at the Disco? I mean, that's the whitest thing in the world. Like white people need, like, okay, here, if we want to dance, here are the rules. That is so. I love how this is the last thing of this. It's so funny. Biden still has all the black support. I mean, that's just so funny. It's a bunch of malarkey.
No Malarkey Express.
Yeah. So, all right, back to the Irishman.
Back touching upon the Irishman.
Oh, dude. So, speaking of which, there's a lot of like online backlash, weirdly, to this movie, which, and I think the great thing about Netflix is that they're letting a lot of filmmakers do what they want.
Mm-hmm.
You know, make a Scorsese. He said every single studio passed on this, and Netflix was like, yeah. and they made him do a 3.5-hour movie with old guys. Basically, there's a lot of
Yeah.
ageism in Hollywood. That's why people passed, I think. And
Well, it's like, Netflix has all this like weird phantom, like doesn't actually exist money to throw at fucking projects.
Yeah, I know.
So they're
Yeah,
probably
they're-
the only people that can decide.
what if they're doing? I feel like they're doing worse than MoviePass with all the money that they spend.
Yeah, it's like the things you read about like Uber, where you like actually like take a glance at the numbers, just like, oh, this is going to like. This shouldn't be able to sustain itself.
Yeah,
this has
yeah.
to like cataclysmically
No
fail
one's
one
getting
day when
paid.
nobody's expecting it.
Yeah. That's why WeWork went out of business, because they just fooled all these people into thinking it was a tech thing and just
Right.
giving them endless money. And they're like, no, it's just office space rental. There's nothing tech about this.
You're the
So-
scammer, baby.
So now they have no money, and it's all going in the tubes because the billionaire's like, oh, fuck, we need to pull out of this. But so I also love that Netflix is like, no more stand-up. We fucked up. Nobody likes these. So that's the great thing about Netflix, and it's amazing that you can just I can watch it 3 weeks after theaters. That is fun, but the problem is it's also made great filmmakers being subversive and not playing the studio game where it's like for everybody. These movies are now more accessible than ever, so a lot of dumb people watch, or at least people, and this sounds very elitist, but a lot of people who are like, just like,
I like where you're going.
I'll watch anything. Oh, what the fuck? This is boring. Like, it's a lot of like, because I saw an Irishman in theaters, and everyone, and there was no backlash from all the people who went to go see it in theaters.
Yeah.
But then it comes out on Netflix. Everyone's like, "What the fuck is this? This
Like,
is
that's the
bullshit."
thing, and, like-
the only voice I read Irishman criticism.
Yeah.
That one right there.
Well, surprisingly, my little sister loved it, which I did not expect, because she gets bored so
Makes
easily.
you proud.
It does.
I showed my little sister. I think you should leave, and she liked it. I was like, yeah,
That rules.
that's a.
That's nice,
I
gentle
did something
comedy.
It's like
right.
my
yeah,
fail-
no, but
uh,
it's weird.
Yeah.
Like
One
Yeah, the family
one
member.
time I
like,
showed a girl Sam Hyde videos, and boy,
I mean, the family member I associate like most with like my mom is like a big film person, but she's like really weird taste for like a New England mom. Her two favorite movies are West Side Story and Mulholland Drive.
That's
awesome.
Which is like
I
the
love Mulholland
strangest-
Drive.
Yeah, so but I love both those movies, but it's just like the weirdest combination.
Yeah, I'll say generally, it is a little. It can be tough to get my sister into things that I like, but she also loves Mulholland Drive, and I got her really into Twin Peaks too, which
Oh,
is great.
Atta
Yeah.
boy.
The best.
Yeah,
But no, I mean, like, even with, like, the Netflix thing, I think it was, they did it as kind of a favor that they released it on Thanksgiving, like, weekends,
Yeah.
you know? Like,
Well,
they knew
Perfect
what movie
Thanksgiving
they...
movie.
it's
Oh,
total.
dude, I fucking watched it, like, Friday morning after Thanksgiving, big cup of coffee in the morning. It was amazing. It felt so good.
You have to kill time in a day, so 3.5 hours. It's beautiful. It is dad bait. It's fucking dad bait. I'm doing this joke in my stand-up, but in the same way Bernie Sanders is energized socialists, the Irishman is energized dads. You know what I mean? Like, they're all holding signs like, De Niro's a legend. This conversation's happening everywhere in the country on Thanksgiving. You know, it was really like that back then. It was really like that. That's how it was.
Yeah.
They don't make them like this anymore. Every house, they don't make them like they used to. That should be that's the tagline.
Yeah.
The Irishman. They don't make them like this anymore.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's a great movie, but like a lot of the people who love it would easily just be satisfied by like a 4-hour still of him, De Niro frowning, just like
yeah. Just De Niro looking at a Gen Z guy and shaking his fist.
just looking out a window in black and white like it's a fucking Swedish movie.
and then just like some text that says, "This is you and all of your friends." Yeah, I'll bet Long Island loves this movie.
Oh God.
But
It would be a funny thing to like somebody at Netflix has those metrics like where it's just a giant red dot.
This is the biggest thing to happen to Long Island since the joint Billy Joel Elton John tour.
Yeah. But like, yeah, so all the criticism online is just like, I don't see anything substantive of what, like, I mean, I guess it's Twitter, so people are making jokes. But the main thing I just see is it's boring, it's long, they're old. Like, it's like, you could have written this before you even saw it. Like, I feel like a lot of people are going in like just being like, I don't know, they're trying to dunk on a movie because it's just like old people in their minds just doing the same thing again. But it's so not the same thing.
Yeah.
It's a movie, it's so great because it does not fall into that trap because it's very purposeful in that they're old. Because it's about fucking getting old and dying. Like, that's what the movie's really about. And it's also like a total meta thing of like this Scorsese's the guy who like invented this genre, and he like made probably all like he made De Niro and Pesci's career, and Pacino's like a legend in his own right. So all of them together kind of this feels like all of their last word on this genre that they're all so identified
Well, yeah,
with.
that's the other thing where it's just like I see a lot of the criticism being like, "Oh, Scorsese made another movie with Al Pacino. This is the first movie he's made with Al Pacino." It's like that's the funny thing. Like, not to like go back to like the Marvel shit, but it's just like in that argument, like all the fucking Scorsese fans are just like, well, if you look at minute 45 of The Age of Innocence, and like meanwhile the Marvel fans are like, I don't even like Scarface.
Yeah. Dude, I feel like there's a lot of that Marvel thing in this like backlash. I feel like people are like, oh, you don't like the thing I like? Well, I know that guy talks like he loves Scorsese, but yeah, it's a lot of like. One of the first Irishman takes I saw The Irishman, not as good as Endgame. Like, that was literally like, what the fuck is wrong?
Hey, Frankie, this guy's talking shit about Thor: The Dark World.
Yeah, it's so fucking childish that like people have to be like, everyone has to like the thing I like and love, and it's like, is it not enough for you that these movies are like always get like 95% on Rotten Tomatoes, and they always make a shitload of money at the box office,
and they're also the entire film industry right now.
Yeah,
like the entire film industry is like trying to like fucking emulate that business model.
Yeah. Also, you think that these guys don't want to love movies. These guys, their default is that they love like Tarantino doesn't like he was much more softer on his criticism, but he was like, yeah, I haven't watched those movies in like 10 years. Last one I really caught up with was like Iron Man 2.
Yeah.
And it's like, and which is hilarious because he's a comic book nerd, but I think that these guys, like, I can fucking see why these guys don't like these movies.
Well, I mean, like,
I even like some of them, but it's like, why does everyone have to like? It's like all allegiance to the Hypnotoad base. You know what I mean? Like it feels it's like it's cultish behavior, and I won't stand for it.
Well, I mean, just like the thing is like, what are you complaining when like the thing you like is like the biggest motherfucking thing in the world right now? It's like I don't know, being like a fucking like a guy in like 74 and be like, Led Zeppelin should be more popular.
Yeah. Well, it's like people like the points. They just like having points for the thing they like. You know what I mean? Like
I think they're also like, to give them credit, I guess they're probably like defensive because they feel made fun of because their shit is seen as like low art. But
it's not. Black Panther was nominated for a fucking Best Picture last year. Like Black Panther was so much like a lot of like the mainstream press like were like, this is a great film or whatever. You know what I mean? And so it's like, what more do you fucking want?
I say this as I like Marvel movies, and I adore Martin Scorsese. I don't think anybody's actually mad about any of this. I've never actually heard anybody vocalize. I've only ever read it in tweets.
Yeah.
There's like a few like fucking tentpole Twitter personalities which are really fucking driving it. And
I know. I just mean I've read a lot of stuff. I've never like actually heard. Somebody's voice raised at the thought of.
Well, no, it's not like a real. It's not like immigration or something. But it is annoying like online. It's like film Twitter. It's like a dumb subsection of it that like is like it's classic comic book thinking or nerd Twitter. It's like comic book guys. It's like Marvel or DC, Marvel or Martin Scorsese. Like it doesn't have to be binary. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be one or the other. It can be both. Can be good. You know, even if Marty doesn't love it. Kevin Feige or one of the Marvel guys, one of the directors was like, hey, I'd like to see anything Scorsese made in the last 10 years that's better than Thor Ragnarok. It's like he's made so many good movies in the last 10 years.
That was a person's actual
yeah. It was
words?
like I'm gonna look that up.
Yeah,
that's a wild one.
Well, it's just like, I mean, this is gonna be like sound like the most fucking elitist thing I've ever said, but just like I've seen people write like, well, a Scorsese movie has never made me cry like fucking Captain America: The Winter Soldier did. It's just like you're like weirdly bragging about how you cried at a fucking superhero movie.
When I went to see Endgame, it was like 9 a.m, and there was a kid next to me, and then his mom was on the other side of him, and the mom was sobbing. And the kid was like, "Mom, what's going on with you?" She goes, "Oh, it's sad." And he goes, "I've never seen you cry before." It's like 9-year-old.
Oh my
Whoa,
God.
jeepers creepers.
Well, at least you know that means he's growing up under a stable family. Parents that love each other. That's nice. And she's just like, "Oh, honey, I love you so much." And then she balls her fucking eyes out to Batman v Superman.
I did cry during Batman v Superman.
Did you?
I did. I was like, damn, Batman's gonna die. Did you know that there's a rumor that Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor, his performance is based on Max Landis? Did you know that?
Tracks.
No shit.
Yeah.
A little nerd king.
Little nerd king.
Yeah. So I think the thing is like, there's a lot of people who like expected Goodfellas fun and didn't get it. So and because their expectations were subverted, they were like, "Well, this sucks." You know what I mean? But it's like, I don't know. That's the problem with it being on Netflix. I think, it's take gate.
There's less of a ceremony to watching it, so it's just easy.
Well,
to,
that's
like,
why I also
dismiss.
think people shouldn't vote, or at least why I think it should be hard to vote.
And also, I think you actually had a great tweet about this, where it's like it was marketed very much like it would be.
New Goodfellas.
Yeah,
That's
it was
true.
like marketed with like a fucking like whoa like song in the trailer.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just the
like,
gunshots punctuating the cuts.
Yeah.
I mean, there is that superficially, and I will say one of my biggest qualms with the movie is the doo-wop is in the entire movie. It's doo-wop the whole time. They're well in the 70s. Doo-wop's not on the radio, Marty.
Yeah, I mean, you're passing up a chance to put "Gimme Shelter" in one of your fucking movies.
Yeah,
Dude.
Mick Jagger
And
was
you
the last old boy
yeah.
you should have got.
And you say he
Yeah.
hasn't changed as a filmmaker when this is a movie that's in the 70s and Martin Scorsese didn't put the Rolling Stones once in it.
No slow-mo shots with Rolling Stones. Oh man, rewatched Departed again recently, and I still love that movie. But the main thing that doesn't hold up is that he plays "Gimme Shelter" at the beginning. Already like, this is the third movie you've done it in. Then in the middle of the movie, he plays "Gimme Shelter" again, and then cuts it off and replays it in the middle. So he plays so the start of "Gimme Shelter" plays 3 times in The Departed. But
yeah, well, fuck, what other movies is it in? that
it's
he-
in Casino and
Mean Street-
Goodfellas.
He does, and there is another Stones Neil drop in Mean Streets.
Oh, there's Stones all over.
Yeah.
There's Stones in
yeah,
all of
Mean
his
Streets
movies.
has like fucking like Jumpin' Jack Flash or something.
Mean
That's
Streets
it,
was
yeah.
totally made at a time when it costs nothing to license music. Same with Easy Rider, because both
Yeah.
those movies are just wall to wall music.
Right.
Like
Well, if you
pop
watch like
music.
The Graduate, like 70% of it is Simon and Garfunkel songs.
yeah.
Just like with no dialogue.
No, I actually read Easy Rider. They like licensed the movie. They're like, yeah, give us $10. Like it was like nothing to get to put that music in there. And what a beautiful time that
yeah,
was.
damn, we're starting to sound like the fans of the film The Irishman. Just
They
thinking-
don't make them like this
Yeah.
anymore.
Right, I paid $15 and I got access to Bachman Turner Overdrive's entire catalog.
Back to Pacino, real quick. First of all, I want to say, so I did a no drink November. I'm back to the booze this weekend.
How many times
I
did
did
you
it.
nut?
Every day.
Ah, man.
Yeah, I fucked it up. But so the movie didn't. I was like, it reaffirmed that I can control it because I watched this movie, all these people drinking, and I was like, this is fun to watch. I'm having a lot of fun watching this. I don't feel the need to go drink or want to get a drink. Al Pacino with his fucking ice cream. I wanted ice cream so goddamn bad when I was watching this. Anyway, but it's funny you brought up Scorsese. First time he used Pacino, because he got exactly what's great about Pacino so fucking quickly. You know what I mean? Like he used him so well.
Yeah, well, it's just like the counterbalance between like, you know, Pesci playing it fucking like low
Yeah.
and like Pacino, him being like knowing to like. Well, it's like this is another thing that somebody pointed out online. It's like when people like somebody replied to one of my things with this when they said like when people like really harp on like all acting needs to be like naturalistic and subdued, like. Have you never met a loud fucking guy? I meet loud people all the fucking time. I'm a loud fucking person right now.
So am I. I'm loud as fuck.
Yeah.
Frank's very quiet.
Yeah.
Right on cue. But so it's like people are saying, so it is weird that this is the last thing I'll say about this. People are saying like, it's just Goodfellas again, and it's too slow. Well, there's no fun. It's like, which one is it? Because it can't be both.
Yeah.
Did you guys like Wolf of Wall Street?
This is maybe a hot take. It's maybe my favorite Martin Scorsese movie.
It's up there for me too.
It's
in my
I think
top
it's
5.
like so fucking good. I think it's like, well, again, people talk about him not growing as an artist. He made a fucking straight up comedy. Like,
It's
that's
so
his version
funny.
of a broad comedy.
Is it
And
my
it's just like it's like fucking like a pretty like principled movie. That's like the thing when people talk about like it glorifies the lifestyle too much. Like, A, it's like so clearly anti that lifestyle if you just like see it through to the end.
Yeah.
And like B, it's like if you're a shitty fucking asshole with no morals and a ton of money, I'm sorry, having a ton of money probably feels pretty fucking awesome when
Yeah.
you have it. And he's just like supposed to like pretend it doesn't. Like he's like fucking capturing it as is.
Yeah, this is
It's
a
like-
real guy.
Yeah, it's like a really thorough fucking like critique of like fucking like Wall Street assholes. It doesn't like pull any punches.
Yeah, you have to be a huge piece of shit to walk out of that movie and think, that guy was fucking awesome. He literally
Right.
like, beats his wife in front of his kid.
Yeah.
That's what Scorsese actually, he really emphasized here. He does a lot of scenes where there's a kid watching the dad be a monster. And that's a
Yeah.
really effective technique to like reframe it as like, yeah, these guys are pieces of shit. Look,
Right.
think of the children. Think of the children. Come on, think of the children. Think of the kids.
Yeah, it's like the thing is like some people are just like always gonna take like a fucking movie wrong. Like when you think like American Psycho, like for instance,
Yeah.
like there are dudes that like, oh man, I am Patrick Bateman. That's like a movie like written by a woman, directed by a woman. It's like so clearly like a fucking parody of that kind of guy. Just like
Yeah.
some people are just really fucking stupid.
Any great satire is gonna be people who like are like, that guy's awesome. You know what I mean? It's like,
Right.
so we can't have flawed protagonists because some idiot somewhere is gonna be like, yeah, that guy's sick. That's me. Like my favorite fucking movie is fucking, or one of my favorites is Taxi Driver, and it's like that literally inspired a shooting. It's like, but should that art not have been made? I don't think so. I think it's good that it was made.
Yeah, it's like fucking. I mean, like fucking like. There's that story where it's just like, it's. I think it's a tough question. I lean towards the side like you gotta fucking like tell stories how they're meant to be represented. But
Yeah.
like, even like fucking directors, like there's that story where it's like Stanley Kubrick wanted to pull like A Clockwork Orange from theaters after he heard it was like inspiring real life gangs and shit.
Yeah,
Well,
and
that's sweet. I didn't take him to be a guy that would care that much about
Well,
that.
he's not a great guy. if you read a bunch about him, but
He's got a soft spot here and there.
if only he pulled Eyes Wide Shut before it directly inspired Epstein. Did you like Wolf, Frank?
Loved Wolf. That's
Yeah.
It's in my top 5 as well.
See, this is great because
And it's just, I'm not as good at dissecting filmmaking, and I'm not that I'm any sort of actor, but I think DiCaprio, I think that's my favorite him.
he's great in
It's
that.
like
Yeah.
what a fucking, he's like an old Cary Grant. He's just
He does
flopping
everything.
around.
yeah, he's just losing his fucking mind. He's
It's,
going for it.
I've never seen anything like it. I think it's one of the best performances.
I kind of thought Revenant was a makeup Oscar because they're like, yeah, that should have. And it's funny because McConaughey won that year for Dallas Buyers Club, which they gave him for True Detective. You know,
For a TV show.
so it was like 2 makeup Oscars in a row. There it was so funny. Yeah, because Dallas Buyers Club. Come on, fucking Jared Leto won an Oscar for that.
I haven't seen it.
How crazy is that?
Oh, they both won for that.
Yeah, they both won.
I haven't seen it either. Nobody's seen. I don't know.
I saw it.
Seen that
It's
movie.
fine. It's super. Like, you know what the funniest part was is the guy that they based it on. Like in the movie, they make him like, I hate gay guys. Fuck gay guys. It's fucking bullshit. If you have AIDS, you're gay. And apparently in real life, he's like, he was like never homophobic.
Oh my God.
yeah. So they just completely like disgrace this
Whoa,
guy.
hey everybody! He's got his whole family.
yeah. He's like, no, I just got AIDS.
He's flipping through the script they sent him. Like none of this is in here.
Yeah, well, that's the same as War Dogs, where Jonah Hill gained weight to play a guy who in real life was pretty normal looking.
I'm going for an Oscar. You just gotta let me do something to my body.
yeah. You know what is sick, though?
It's either this or I tattoo damaged on my forehead, Leto style.
and then become trans Leto style in the movie about it later. Leto plays a cross-dresser in the movie.
You know, everything he did in the Joker or while playing the Joker is probably everybody's own fault for giving him an Oscar. Like that's that's probably a direct.
Yeah,
Well, it's just
yeah.
like the funniest thing.
That's like an Iraq War level blunder. Like the ramifications were so immediately seen.
Well, it's like that's the fucking thing where it's just like we're just talking about the fucking Joker again. But
We're gonna
like,
talk about every Joker in its
Hey,
Well,
turn.
that's
the
like
Joker, Mr. Entertainment,
like
I call
the
him.
funniest fucking thing about like you go through all the Jokers and just like Jared Leto's like Like fucking not fucking Heath Ledger got like hooked on pills to play like the fucking Joker, and like Jared Leto was like mailing entrails to his coworkers, and like the best Hamill is just like. The best Joker is Mark Hamill. And it's just like,
He is great.
I just figured out a voice on the drive over.
Yeah.
It's just like, hey, I can laugh like that.
But yeah, because the Joker is supposed to just be a funny clown, and he's so scary.
Son of a
I'm thinking of a bunch of weird Joker connections now in my head because Nicholson played the Joker, and he
Yeah.
also played Jimmy Hoffa. And if the Joker and De Niro's in the Joker, and if Joaquin as Joker gets nominated this year, it'll be only the second time in Oscar history that two actors will be nominated for playing the same character, two different actors. And the first time that happened, does anyone know?
Yeah.
Marlon Brando
De Niro,
and
yes.
De Niro as Don
Oh,
Corleone.
shit.
So Don Corleone and the Joker, De Niro, Hoffa. I'm losing my mind, folks. What am I, in Under the Silver Lake? Did you guys see that? Was this reference
I dug
landing?
that
That's
movie.
all-
Yeah,
I thought it was
yeah,
fucking
yeah.
great.
Great
No,
soundtrack.
I'm just looking forward for an entire Joker-based Best Oscar category. I want fucking posthumously nominate Heath Ledger for 10 Things I Hate About You. Put him in there.
It's Anthony Hopkins out there, and the award for Best Joker goes to
It's a tie. All of you get up here.
5 people in Joker paint. Just start high-fiving
Yeah,
each
and
other.
like the head of the orchestra's like, da-da-da, hey, da-da-da-da.
They all pull guns on each other in like a Mexican standoff as they get the Oscar to try and get the. And the Joker goes to. Oh, fuck, man. I love the Joker. He's such a cool guy. I hope that the best picture. So we can get. I actually would like to get in the Oscar talk a little bit, maybe for a little bit, but I hope that the Oscar nominations of this year are like, all right, Adam Sandler, Uncut Gems, Robert De Niro, The Irishman, Leo DiCaprio, and the Joker. Like just the Joker is nominated.
Joker's never gonna go away.
Yeah.
Do you,
And introducing the Joker
As himself. As himself.
just in the opening credits.
Best
Like when there's a
animated
fucking
short
dog in a
Joker.
movie.
Yeah, I'm nominated for Best Supporting Joker.
Best supporting Joker. Hey, guys, remember that other Joker that was in that movie? Yeah, it was me.
We're gonna shoot to Kumail Nanjiani over at the Technical Joker. These are for all the Jokers working behind the scenes.
Sound design of the Joker is one of the most important parts of a film.
You know, folks, there's a lot of Jokers behind the camera.
But let's
Kumail.
take a moment to pay tribute for some of the Jokers we lost this year.
All right, stay tuned after the Oscars. The Joker is hosting Late Night with the Joker.
There's been a mistake. The Joker has won. The Joker, I'm sorry, but the Joker has actually won.
Best adapted Joker. Oh, fuck. The Joker is
Now when
canceled.
the Joker
sis.
has to walk from all the way from the back of the auditorium. It takes him.
And the winner
Takes him, like-
of, winner of Best Joker. Ooh, this is an upset. Pennywise. Oh, I didn't even
Yeah.
prepare anything.
Well, yeah. Well, Pennywise gets the award for best short form Joker.
Oh, shit. All right.
Best foreign Joker.
It's just like a
Stop it now.
sad,
Get out of
silent French clown. Le film de clown. Le Joker. Le grand film, as Nick said. Do you guys think that this will any Oscar do you think this is an Oscar shoo-in?
I think it fucking should.
Absolutely.
I think like you can make a case for all three fucking guys in the movie for like acting nods.
I think so. I think it's kind of a shoo-in.
Probably like
It feels
I'm
like-
not saying I didn't like his performance, but left the least impact on me. I'd say maybe De Niro if you need to take somebody out of that three. As I did love him in this movie.
if
but
it wasn't already such a crowded Best Actor year,
It's stacked this year.
it's really bananas.
I'm hoping fucking
Last
like,
year was fucking bullshit. Rami Malek,
That
like,
was
dude,
crazy.
anybody from this year, my
that
least
was
favorite. A travesty.
I was going to say Travis.
Well, dude, like my level of like excitement for Uncut Gems right now, like I'm
Ooh.
going to be
I heard it's
disappointed.
amazing.
I'm going to be disappointed if it doesn't fix my entire fucking life when
Yeah.
it comes out. Like
But
I want like Adam Sandler to like win it unanimous MVP Steph Curry style.
Oh yeah, that'd be great,
Yeah.
dude. Hell yeah, everyone, greatest team ever.
Who's the basketball player in it? It'd be funny if he gets
Oh,
nominated.
Kevin Garnett.
Kevin Garnett.
Right?
Oh my
Oh
god.
man, this is
Best supporting
Durso
actor,
bait in
Kevin
a
Jesus
fucking
Christ.
nutshell.
I'll fucking
Do you think he's going to be good, or you?
dude. I will.
I hope he
fight-
says anything is possible in the
I will
movie.
fight any actor to get Kevin Garnett an Oscar. Like I will snap fucking Jesse Eisenberg on my knee like a Kit Kat. I don't give a shit. I will do anything to get Kevin Garnett an Oscar.
And the winner for best supporting actor, Paul Pierce.
Has
Be
that ever happened
terrible
before? Did Babe Ruth get nominated when he played himself in the Lou Gehrig movie?
That happened.
Did Babe Ruth play Luke
Babe
Gehrig?
Ruth played himself in the movie with I'm the luckiest man on the old one. With
Yeah, I
Gary
hear the
Cooper.
Joker also played
Yeah,
himself in
yeah,
that
That's
movie.
even
Yeah,
worse
the
than when
Joker.
Pennywise
Pushing that
played
one,
the
yeah.
Joker.
Today, I feel like the luckiest Joker. The day he has to retire because he got Joker's disease named after himself.
Kevin Garnett. Anything is possible, including becoming the Joker.
Oh man,
That's a reference to 2008. Everybody.
yeah.
The year.
Yeah.
Okay.
The most important thing to happen within the year: Celtics win an NBA title, baby.
And The Dark Knight
That's
came out,
right.
so
Oh my
that
God.
joke
There
could
we
have
go.
really
We got
played
it.
in 08.
It's all happening.
Yeah, but the best actor category this year is going to be crazy because this Richard Jewell movie's coming out, and I was watching a review, and he's like, "This guy's great in the movie. I don't think he has a shot for an Oscar." Chris Stuckman said that.
Clint Eastwood is so good at making movies now that nobody wants to see, but we have to because somebody from them gets nominated for an Oscar.
Dude, he fucking cranks them out.
Yeah,
It's-
The Mule was last year.
Well, it's like you did that movie that's just like the title's a number and it takes place on a train.
Yeah,
Like,
I heard that's his worst movie he's ever
Oh,
made.
where
by
we
the
had
way.
actual Marines or whatever
is that what
play
happened?
themselves
Oh,
and they
man.
stop.
He's kind of like Dark Scorsese, where he's just like, "I'm gonna die soon. Better get him out. Better get out these classics."
I only have so much time left on this earth to respect these troops.
My legacy. I gotta get Sully up there on the big screen before I'm the only one who can tell this story. I just
Man.
I can't wait to go see Richard Jewell, and I'm so excited to just boo the press loudly every time. Every time a reporter shows up, I'm gonna go, "Boo!
Dishonest!
This fake, fake." Apparently,
Yeah.
Olivia Wilde. I've
Bring
actually,
back Sullivan Sullenberger, that guy.
I've actually heard Richard Jewell is his best movie he's made in a while, but apparently Olivia Wilde is like cartoonishly like, "I am going to ruin your life, Richard Jewell." Like,
Well, it's just like, isn't there like
Cleese is like the ultimate historical villain, a reporter and a woman.
well, it's like that's the fun. Is it? I haven't seen Sully, but isn't there like a plot line in it where like the airline's like, "We didn't like that you saved that plane."
Yeah.
It's like he has to have a plot line in all of his movies
Yeah.
about like a little guy fighting against the man.
Government. Yeah, the whole climax of Sully was like he made it up. That's another thing he like made up, where he's like, I actually flew that plane really well, officer. And it's like, and they're like, "Oh," and he wins in court, and apparently none of that happened. Like the entire Sully story is he landed the plane and got on TV a bunch.
Yeah.
Which is why Clint Eastwood shows
Yeah.
Sully landing the plane 3 times, no less than 3 times in that movie.
Damn, I don't know. I was after this podcast, we should all go back and delete our anti-Sully takes. 'Cause, man, it was so controversial a story when it happened.
Yeah, I do like Sully. I think that's kind of a fun movie, but
I haven't seen it.
it is so ridiculous on paper.
Richard Jewell, I would like to submit. I'd be very irritated if I went to see that movie, and it would tickle me if he was only ever referred to by his full name, Richard Jewell. I don't want to ever hear him just called Richard or Mr. Jewell. Richard Jewell. And then
I don't know
whatever
much
else,
about
I
Richard
don't know.
Jewell's story.
I
but-
don't know
Richard
anything
Jewell,
about-
you're too good to be playing to be the security guard at the 1996 Olympics.
I married Richard Jewell. Hey, yeah, I'm still Richard Jewell. I'm Richard Jewell.
What about me? What about Richard Jewell?
Is that Richard?
I don't know.
Fucking his wife fucking hyphenates the first name, where it's just like, listen, my name is Helen Richard Jewell, and I am married to the greatest man.
Is there a Mrs. Richard Jewell?
Yeah.
I just hope he says.
Also,
I just hope I don't know anything about it, but I just hope he says the Bears at some point.
also, this is pretty unrelated, but I haven't seen Dirty Grandpa. But I hope in every scene people are like, "Can you calm the fuck down, Dirty Grandpa?"
You know, so back to De Niro doing shitty movies. I think Dirty Grandpa. People are like, yeah, he's phoning in as a paycheck. I think there's a lot of movies you can accuse him of. I truly think he read the script for Dirty Grandpa and thought, this is hilarious. This is a fucking hoot. That is
That's perfect.
this is what I'm fucking and that's funny. This is funny because I saw the trailer.
I know enough to know that it's funny when my dick is doing stuff.
Everyone I knew our age was dunking on it. I went to go see a movie, and my dad actually has very good taste in movies. Like, he has really good taste. That trailer for Dirty Grandpa came on, and he was fucking losing it. He thought it was so funny that De Niro was like, oh, I'm fucking these two girls. You can take the ugly one. Or what? I don't know, whatever that fucking movie is.
That's probably part of it.
Yeah.
That's probably direct.
Let's see if I have anything else. Oh, speaking of the Scorsese Marvel debate.
It's a 3.5 hour movie. You got to have more.
Yeah. This podcast is going to be The Irishman. I actually thought that the de-aging looked better than the Sam Jackson de-aging in Captain Marvel. Did you guys see Captain Marvel?
I
First half.
did. I don't think it didn't jump out at me during Captain Marvel. I didn't
never
love
got
that
used to
movie,
it.
but
It looked good. I remember thinking it looked fine, but I never got used to it like I did in the Irishman. I got really used to it. You know.
well, it's just the one the like the CGI thing I always hear people talk about, like from last year, where it's I didn't see this movie, but the removing of Superman's mustache in the Justice League.
Oh yeah.
People talk a lot of shit about that.
Release the Snyder Cut. So I would like to ask us to rank the comedians who performed in this film.
Oh, I was hoping
shit.
we'd get to do this.
Oh god.
We got, and I think it's pretty clear. We got Ray Romano. Actually, no, the top two are clear, but the bottom is very easy. We got Ray Romano,
Yeah.
Sebastian,
Hell yeah.
Jim Norton.
Well,
is there anyone
Jim
else?
Norton just has to go third because of screen time.
He also is very bad in it.
I thought he was fine.
I thought he was the worst.
Rickles.
He's not.
He
He's
didn't
just
even
Jim
try
Norton.
to do a voice.
Yeah.
which is fine. I guess.
Well,
why
it's just like Don Rickles doesn't have like a huge like voice. He's not.
I could do it.
He could. I don't know.
No, I thought he was.
didn't bother me.
Nah, he was good. I'm still putting him third. I thought he was good. I thought he was good. He's mainly third due to lack of screen time. I hope. Okay, we're talking about like wanting Adam Sandler. Like, I said I'd like kill fucking like an actor.
Eisenberg.
I'd say I'd fight an actor, kill an actor, get like Kevin Garnett. I'd like burn down a hospital to get Sebastian Maniscalco an Oscar.
Oh my god.
I want him to become a prestigious actor so bad.
I think
if you need a hospital blown up, I know who you can ask.
The best supporting Joker.
I want Ray Romano. I know you were just saying that to be funny. I think Ray Romano is on that same track to be a guy who wins an Oscar.
Oh,
at
Ray
some point.
Romano's still number one, but
He's
I'm just
so
saying.
good.
I'm like
Sebastian's
I'm just,
awesome in
he was
it.
This is
no,
me
Sebastian
calling
was really
my
good.
shots. Sebastian Maniscalco's gonna be in a fucking Paul Schrader movie next year.
If
He's gonna become a respected actor.
Dude, if Irishman wins Best Picture, Sebastian's in 2 Best Picture winners in a row.
That would. Man, I just want
He's
to
gonna
become,
be like John Cazale every movie.
yeah.
He's
All
in.
right, time to fucking kill myself.
Yeah.
So I was in The Irishman. I won an Oscar. Yeah.
Well, it's like I just wanted to become like a really prestigious actor, and all the while still be doing like his like comedy. That's just like, I live in Los Angeles. You see guys driving these hybrid cars, like just the exact same style of comedy.
I mean, but that's the thing is I think he's so great in this movie, and he was very good in Green Book. I think he's like one of those guys who's way better as like an Italian character actor than a comedian. Like, he's fucking great in this. He's so cool.
I enjoy his comedy. I don't know. I'm an easy laugh. I like fucking
it's
big, gestury shit.
I saw him
I
in
actually haven't
Vegas
watched
like
an-
10 years ago. Before I was staying in a hotel in Vegas, and in the theater in the hotel, they were doing the Vince Vaughn Wild West comedy tour.
Fuck yeah.
Just snuck in, and Sebastian was
That was his big break.
And then, like,
Yeah.
10 years later, he was on the
I
Tonight
think it
Show.
would be funny if for all those like comics, like they just had their regular Comedy Central special, and then like after that special, there was a post-credit scene where they're just returning home, and then Vince Vaughn emerges from the shadows. It's like, I need you for a team.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I don't know. It's fucking. I'm so happy for Sebastian Maniscalco, because even before he probably learned he was going to be in the movie, he was probably so psyched to learn that they're making this movie. He was the guy
Yeah,
that we were talking
He's
about.
who it's
Like,
for.
are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, yeah,
De
yeah.
Niro, Pesci, and Pacino?
Maniscalco, this is gonna be great. No,
I can't think of anything for a guy like that, or any of us who grew up watching these movies, than getting killed by Robert De Niro on screen.
Oh my
That's-
oh
god.
my god, yeah.
Yeah.
And he also gets to play the guy that's in every like the cool hot shot. He's like, well, fuck you, man. You know, it's a great
Like
role.
The actual
Right.
most famous ones.
I think like
I'll bet I'll bet like that's probably the best part of being famous for him is doing that role. Like every fucking little Italian kid's like, I want to
Yeah.
be that fucking guy.
that's like when like a fucking like horny person posts on Twitter. It's like, damn, I want fucking Robert De Niro to kill me in a mob pit.
yeah. Just e-girls going crazy for De Niro.
Yeah.
Oh my god, fuck me, daddy.
Curb-
I wanted
curb
to
stomp
launch
me slowly, Daddy.
that. I thought that scene was awesome when I saw it in theaters, but someone did clip just that scene and put it on Twitter, and it does look kind of ridiculous.
That was very, I noticed that right away, but I was like, that was 20 seconds. I'm not gonna let that. I don't.
The
care.
scene where he's shooting Sebastian.
Yeah, well, no, the scene where he goes
No.
to show the shop owner a lesson because the shop owner was like rude to his
Does
daughter.
that scene look ridiculous out of context? I
No.
thought it was so good.
No,
in the
just
movie.
I thought it was
the
great,
literal,
too.
You see him like he's curb stomping, and he's very clearly like.
He's so slow and it
Yeah.
looks so weak.
Yeah.
If you look for it, I thought it was sick in the movie because it was like
No,
classic
it was great.
Scorsese.
Yeah.
Like, you want to know what I'm gonna do? You know what I'm gonna do? Like,
Sebastian, it was.
Well, I
cool.
mean, there's that scene where he has to like walk from the car to the edge of the bridge to throw that gun in the water, and it takes him 5 seconds to make that trip.
Yeah.
that's true.
I think the old man, not body, does fuck a little bit, but not as much as people say either. That's the thing. I think this movie,
You
there's
got to be looking to be annoyed by stuff. If
Well,
you're gonna
like for
complain
me,
about
like
that,
I
think.
stopped trying to like compare it to like young De Niro, and I just started to think of it as like a character in this movie. Like it's not the young De Niro
Yeah,
we
yeah.
know, but it's the character that it's like it doesn't like seem out of place in this precise like film, you know?
yeah.
For sure, because this was some smart film person's read of it, is that it's the whole thing is him remembering the way he was when he was young, and it's
Yeah.
all just conflated. 'cause
No,
he's
that
old.
that like works as like a fucking meta read
Yeah,
of it
I'm
and
fine
shit.
with that.
Yeah.
I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I'm okay with it. It's okay.
That's how
Right.
I'm reading it too.
Mhm.
Yeah, and also like
I mean, that does sound like a justification that Martin Scorsese made up on the top. They're like, nah, it's him remembering it. Yeah, that's the ticket.
yeah.
It's
I don't
remembering
quite
it.
buy that, but yeah. But still, like fucking just chill. What was he gonna do? You want it to be all CGI? Like,
Yeah. The idea, like even if it's not intentional, it works for the movie.
yeah, it
Which is like
does.
sometimes some of these things just have to be like left up to like luck and
And
shit.
like it is fucking great to watch these awesome actors who have given us so much do their thing again and do it really, really fucking well. That rules.
Yeah.
It's like this could have been so easily a disaster. Do you know how much like if Scorsese wasn't at the helm, if it was some other director, oh my god, this thing would have been like CGI 3, past their prime at like old guys like kind of doing their one last heist thing. It could have felt like a reunion show episode, but it was like very deliberate and precise and completely justified its existence to the point of becoming a masterpiece, I think.
No, it was like fucking if this fucking God forbid, if this ends up being Martin Scorsese's last movie,
He's already got another one in
already
the
got
pipeline
one hypothetically
with Leo
or-
and De Niro.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
He just keeps making his fucking end games.
I'm gonna die soon. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You want a real superhero team up?
Yeah.
I got it.
Yeah, Thanos is actually in this one.
Yeah. Yeah, we got Thanos. No, the real one. Yeah, the real Thanos. He's gonna be in it. Yeah,
And the award for best supporting Joker goes to oh my god. Thanos, get up here.
My God, Thanos versus the Joker. I'm going crazy even thinking about this twisted team up.
Oh my god.
Can you imagine if
can't-
they teamed up?
Dude, that would be like 6 stars on Letterboxd. Like, if you had an extra star for Epic Sauce.
It would be like our tour cinema is fuck. something that also
Again, Francis Ford Coppola watches it, and he's like, I am so sorry. I've changed my mind. These films are valid.
I never considered what it would be like if Thanos teamed up with the Joker.
And only the vision of director Baby Yoda.
It took a lot of vision
Yeah.
for Baby Yoda to think
Yeah.
one is on land and one is in space.
It's this team up between Baby Yoda, Thanos, Joker, and Charlie Bit My Finger from the famous internet video.
I think people talking about the Joker sequel. It's like, what the fuck would that even be? Like, this is like not a supervillain. He's like an insane. This version of the Joker is just like a regular guy. Like,
Well, it's implied he's gonna be a fucking supervillain. All those fucking supposed to be Antifa, I guess, guys are like, we love the Joker. At the end.
but it's like what. But like that works for that moment. But I can't imagine that guy. He's so like out of it. Like, what is he like? Okay, guys, now rob a bank. You know, like I just don't see him like stop the Gotham River. Like I like that.
That was like one of the things that like bummed me out about the Joker. It's like during that talk show scene, I was ready for him to like turn on, show me the fucking guy you're gonna be in like 10 years, but instead he was just like still kind of weird.
But that's what I liked.
Like,
He's complete incel the whole like he's like he's doing the Elliot Rodger thing during that De Niro moment at the end where he's not cool, you know?
yeah.
Like cuz Elliot Rodger like tried to be like he I don't mean to bring up I guess the Joker it goes hand in hand.
yeah.
But Elliot Rodger like before he shot when he made videos he would literally go mwah ha ha ha.
Yeah,
ha,
dude,
ha,
I
ha."
remember like he has these like rehearsed laughs.
Yeah.
They're so fucking creepy.
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
it-
obviously the whole thing's fucking creepy.
But it's like
a
cringe
mass
and not
shooter, but
scary
it's
and that's what it felt like what that the Joker was going for in that scene. I was like I respect that.
I must disclaim at this point, I have not seen the Joker.
interesting.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Oh,
unless
sorry.
you think I was just like fucking.
But
fuck
who's
these
your-
guys talking about the Joker?
But who's your best supporting Joker then?
Do we spoil anything?
No, no, I'm not gonna.
Turns out De Niro
I-
is the Joker.
Well,
I feel
okay.
like
well,
I
what you need to
feel
know
like
is there's
I
a
have the
staircase
entire
in the
thing
Bronx.
based on discourse. Yeah. I've seen all.
Yeah, that
the,
movie
all
was
the Joker
spoiled
stair videos.
pretty quick.
I haven't seen the
Yeah.
movie. I've watched every video of people dancing down the stairs.
Right,
Everyone
yeah,
that
I
there
guess
is.
if you
That
didn't
movie
see
was
that
really
movie,
spoiled the next day on Twitter.
Dude, well, it was like I didn't watch Game of Thrones, but just from like being
People on
online in
Twitter
that last
suck.
season, like I know everything that fucking happened in
Just
Game of Thrones.
immediately.
No, yeah,
Yeah.
I saw the Joker on opening night. You know, I forgot my gun at home, but it was still a great. But I saw it on opening night, and
Oh.
Yeah, I guess I'll just enjoy this movie. I've been waiting my entire life.
but I talked to this guy, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I saw a scene from that." I was like, "Which scene?" And then he just said the climax. I was like, "Where'd you see that?" He's like, "Oh yeah, it was just on Twitter."
Oh,
I was like, "What the fuck?" Like
Yeah.
that's so quick that it was already everyone assumed everyone had seen it. Even more so than Endgame, weirdly. Like I feel like Endgame people like had more of like a sport, like a
well,
buffer
Endgame,
period.
there's this like real weird like movement of like, if you don't spoil this movie, it like became a part of the dialogue of the film.
Oh yeah, I actually I remember like the Russo. Yeah, it was like a big thing, and the Russo brothers like, okay, the ban is lifted. You can spoil the movie. It was like, what the fuck? It's so weird, like
So silly.
online discourse. I mean, but I kind of like that weirdly, like because there's no rules. I mean, I guess the Joker would be happy about that, the pure chaos. But I kind of like knowing like I got to see it this movie by this day, or it's gonna be spoiled for me.
Every time before I hit that send button, I think, fuck, man, would the Joker be happy about this?
That's how I live my life every day. I make a gratitude. You know, how people make gratitude lists. I make a Joker-tude list. Like, what would the Joker be grateful
Yeah.
for if I was him?
Right. Fucking just trying to be like the Joker every night you like try and go like strike out with a lady and you're just like, God, the fucking she doesn't understand.
Little does she know that I'm the Joker. Oh, so back to the Norton thing really quick, because I just found this so fucking funny. You know, like, are you guys familiar with like the Opie and Anthony like fan base?
Yeah.
They just fucking hate everyone involved with that show, especially Jim Norton.
They hate Jim Norton.
They hate Jim Norton. They hate him so much that I went on the subreddit, which is pretty inactive, but they posted like the Scorsese Jim Norton scene, and the most top voted comment is, "He was so bad in this. I hope he kills himself soon." That was the top. Like any other fan base would be like,
fans are rough.
like even Cumtown, if like Nick Mullen got in a movie, all of them like, "Fuck yeah, Nick's in a movie." Like, and this they're like, "Yeah, I hope Norton kills himself." And then the next comment was like, "He really is a talentless worm."
Jesus.
If anybody would dare say that about Man of Skull on Friday, I swear to God. You see these people?
Do you see these I'm just fucking what? I'm just trying to do my radio show.
I've got a fourth comic to add to the list of comics in The Irishman, by the way. I spotted this guy. I freaked out to nobody because there was nobody else. This guy, Jeffrey Paul, who I used to see at Mike's my first year, was like an extra in the scene with
He
Pacino.
made it in there?
He's like the guy sitting in front
I
of
said that I
Pacino.
don't know who he is, but I was like, Jeffrey Paul.
I think that was his name.
Richie Jewell.
Logan Paul's brother. Yeah, Richard Jewell.
And it was when Pacino's yelling at the 8 guys in the chair, and then the De Niro walks out. He was going to yell at me. It was one of the guys. I was like,
that's awesome.
I went, and then I realized it was a movie theater, so I couldn't.
He was one of the motherfuckers.
Yeah.
You motherfuckers!
yeah.
That's like
He's one of the guy who introduces you to another character, of which there's so many in The Irishman. Like, you got to go talk to Paul.
Him, Ray, Sebastian, Jim Norton.
There you go. Perfect. So Ray's number 1 for all of us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
he's
he's
got
great.
to. He's great.
I
in
think
this.
he's fucking awesome. He's
so
so
good.
funny and good in it. Like,
Yeah.
I hope he works with Scorsese again. I think Romano could be a great character actor. He's awesome. Yeah.
You know what it made me think of?
Here's what
That season of Curb when in the show Larry David gets cast in a Martin Scorsese movie.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I like that. That's my favorite trend, is like an elderly comedian becoming a dramatic character
Well,
actor.
comics can often pivot to drama pretty well.
Maron's doing it. I
Maron's
enjoy
doing
him.
it hardcore.
Yeah. He was
I
in
think
The
he's a great
Joker.
actor.
What's with this
God
fucking
damn it.
Joker?
Dude, man, compared to like what a big story that was when it came out of even the Joker,
I know.
so
He
disappointing.
was barely
It's
in it.
too sad. It's just like
thought he was
I
gonna
don't
be
fucking
Commissioner
know
Gordon.
about this guy, Robert De Niro.
Yeah, he has like a
that's all
lot.
he-
It's like a weird. Like, I feel like that was all that was in the script, but it felt like a bigger role that was cut. You know what I mean?
That wouldn't shock me.
Yeah.
Oh.
Could be.
Because I think
you couldn't get
you know
one
what?
Boomer Lives in there.
Yeah. Okay, Boomer.
Maybe that was after the directed by Todd Phillips.
At the end, he's just like, "All right," and then he plugs a guitar and he does a quick like.
Well, because Joaquin's in every scene. I'll bet they probably cut a scene just to like get that that through line where it's like Maron and De Niro just like, I don't know, should we book him? Nah, we can't book him. He's the Joker. Don't joke with me, Joker. Back to the Richard Jewell thing. I want a scene like Groundhog Day with Fred Stora's character. Richard Jewell. Remember me? How about instead of uncut gems, uncut jewels?
Here we go.
We got it.
That's it.
I thought it was fucking great, man.
Thanks, man.
Uncut Jules is that's genuinely good.
Yeah.
That's the episode title. I don't know if you do episodes.
It's me, Richie Gems.
Uncut jewels. I think I'm gonna call it the guy.
Larry, you're a Richard Jewell again. Welcome back.
Oh, so there was another controversy about like how many lines Anna Paquin has or whatever. She has like 7 lines, I guess, in the movie.
Yeah.
And the funniest thing was CNN wrote an article about it, and one of the tweets she
so
quoted about the
stupid.
discourse about it, like they quoted tweet. That's how you know an article is bad. Is if they just start quoting what people on Twitter were saying. And one of the tweets they quoted was, "How about the Irishman?" And it's for the fellas. That's one of the tweets they quoted in their article.
22,000 likes.
I think that if you want to make my mom actually made the case. It's like she was like, there was no strong female characters, and like I have arguments against that, whatever, but it's fine. But I think the actual weird trend that came out this year of like counting how many lines someone has in a movie to say. Like, they did that with Margot Robbie in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. They're like, she only has, like, 15 lines. It's like, yeah, but she has a lot of screen time, and because she's not saying anything because she's by herself a lot, you know?
Yeah, well, I mean, and I, like, will not lie. I did notice she didn't have a lot, probably because, like, we were having, like, the culture was having, like, the dialogue about how woke Martin Scorsese is or, like, whatever.
Yeah.
I did, like, notice, like, oh, she's got, like, a weird lack of lines in this movie. But, like, if you want to, like, justify in the plot, if you want to do that, it makes total sense because like she's afraid of this fucking guy.
He's afraid of her, and it's also about how she's not in his life.
Yeah, and she hates him too. Like she
talk
doesn't
to him.
want to talk to him.
I think probably at least some of it was just because it was it was like Anna Paquin. You're like, oh, you would think if they got her in,
Right.
Right.
But I felt the same way about Jesse Plemons. Like they didn't give him a ton to do.
No.
I'll bet they were in it and got cut out because it's fucking 3.5
And I think it's just bottom line, whatever they think about the part, it's like you're not gonna not be in this movie. Like if you're
Yeah.
at any part in a movie when it's those three guys and him,
Yeah.
put me on screen for a
Well,
second.
I mean,
don't
it's like
care.
hard to know her actual feelings on because maybe it was just the things she was saying. But she said like, "I'm fine." Like she like went on
all this like
record.
getting mad on behalf of the actors themselves, because like Margot Robbie loves fucking Once Upon a Time in Hollywood too. You know, it's like, I mean, I get
She's
that they're not
great,
going to
too.
speak out against like their bosses basically, but
Yeah.
but it feels
Like
kind
to be
of.
fair to them, like the last person that like did that big time, like Katherine Heigl,
I was
did
just
get kind of
about to
fucking
say Katherine
blackballed,
Heigl.
kind of.
Yeah, but that was because like she was just really hard to work with, though. Right?
Mhm.
Like even on Grey's Anatomy, they're like, yeah, let's get like a very female-dominated show. They're
Yeah,
like,
but that was
Katherine
still like a
Heigl sucks.
giant fucking controversy.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, look,
I mean, like,
I'm not gonna defend Judd Apatow,
but I mean, like,
or maybe I will. Please hire me, Judd.
but it's like fucking, I don't know, Scorsese, like, as he's got a like good track, like everything people say you should do is like a fucking like a person in power to like lift up like people less like fortunate than you. He's done. Like
Yeah.
he goes to bat for like a lot of like fucking like international fucking directors. Like he put his entire weight behind that like the Souvenir movie that came out like this year, which like was directed by a woman.
Oh yeah, and he helps out, and also it's like, I don't know. There's a part of me that's like, let the guy make the movie he wants to make. You know what I mean? On some level, I don't know why we have to like. And
well, also,
and as
like,
far
it's
as
the
female
story
characters,
that he's like knows how to tell. Like he should be like it's like that's him staying in his fucking lane.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
and also it's like it's a mob movie that takes place in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. Like, how vital of a role? Like, there's also a lot of women in the movie. Like,
And so like also the fucking thing of like the movie isn't about how like being a dude in the mob rocks. Like,
Yeah.
it's fucking,
yeah,
it's
these guys are
pretty
pieces of
critical
shit.
of 'em.
Yeah. Also, there's a great and he's done it
Like-
before. Like Goodfellas, fucking Karen is the other lead, I think. You know, so it's like.
It's like,
and so he's made that
Robbie,
movie.
Margot Robbie's like role in like Wolf of Wall Street. That could have easily just been a who gives a shit wife role, and like that's like a substantial role in that movie. It's like a pretty fucking great showcase for her. Like, that
Yeah.
put her on the map.
Yeah, and Lorraine Bracco, Bracco, what's her?
Bracco.
Yeah, she's amazing in that too.
Yeah.
Like that's one of my favorite like performances of like a wife character in like all of cinema, if not my favorite. And
So,
like the
best-
part where she's like, where they're in the witness protection, she's like, what about what? I can't see my parents. Oh my god! Like she's like,
this year at the Oscars, I'm gonna have a best jokers category and a best wives category.
yeah. Best Joker's wife.
Best joketress.
Best joketress.
You
Also,
guys like After Hours?
yeah,
I
I think.
That one just popped in.
Big fucking blind spot. for me.
After
I've
Hours
not
fucking-
seen
After Hours, so
Let's just go
good.
through the Scorseses, huh?
Yeah.
I would actually love to do that. After Hours is really underrated, I think. It's funny as
So
fuck.
fun.
It really makes you feel like you are at just past the peak of a Coke binge and in the I'm done too much. It captures that feeling so well, you know?
Well, this is like kind of like off subject, but like something that reminds me of a little bit is speaking of Uncut Gems, you guys have seen Good Time, right?
Yeah.
It's
Good
like
time.
a Good Time to me is like so fun because like it reminds me of like what it was like being like a 17-year-old and watching like Memento, like a fucking dorm room
Yeah.
movie.
Oh,
It has that
yeah.
like scuzzy energy to it that like I like whenever people talk about After Hours, like fucking makes me think of.
Good midnight movie.
Yeah, when you
for
see
sure.
the cult movie and you just know it's a cult. That's how I felt about Under the Silver Lake too. It's like this is a
Yep,
cult movie now,
sure.
and it's so rare. It's so
I need to rewatch that one. I think I watched in the wrong mindset.
yeah, definitely check it out again. It's also very divisive, so I actually don't. It's one of those movies where it's like I love it, but I don't fault anybody for disliking it.
What's the other movie he did again?
It Follows.
Oh, fucking
It Follows rules.
Yeah, It Follows is great.
I love it. But yeah, it's great to see one of those. It's like, oh, this is gonna be watched in dorm rooms, and yeah, Good Time is for sure like one of those, definitely.
God, it's like fun to have like a movie make you feel like fucking 17 again and shit.
Yeah.
Like I don't have. It's not like I have like a fucking Boondock Saints poster on my wall or some shit.
Well,
but
mine's coming. It's in the mail right now. God, Boondock
Mine's at
Saints
the Framers.
fucking sucks, by
it's
the way.
real bad. Have you seen Overnight?
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's incredible.
I've watched it like 4 times.
Overnight's. Do you know Overnight? There's like when the guy who directed the Boondock Saints was making the Boondock Saints. Like it was like this unprecedented deal in Hollywood. So he said to his friends like, you filmed the making of for the movie, and we'll release that, and it'll be like this really cool document. But during that time, he totally like burned those bridges with his friends, so they just ended up making that footage into like a hatchet piece on it.
Yeah, they just completely
rules.
Yeah,
They just,
Harvey
like,
Weinstein factor is a big part into it.
He does,
Yeah.
yeah.
No.
Well, it's like that's the fucking thing. Like any movie from the '90s, you're gonna see that fucking Miramax logo.
Yeah,
Like, ugh.
so many good movies.
I know,
But
it's a
fucking
fucking
Harvey, it's
bummer.
tainted so
Yeah.
many great movies.
But it's like, Overnight is one of my favorite editing jokes ever in it, which is like somebody's talking about Troy Duffy, the director, and they're just like hanging out at a bar, and like somebody says, "Is he Troy? Troy has the ingredients for success," and that just cuts to a shot of Troy Duffy swinging a bottle of Jack and then a bottle of RC Cola right after. It's like, all right, this is like almost unfair.
Devastating edit.
Do you remember in Boston? We both lived in Boston at the same time. Do you remember when Boondock Saints 2 came out? I think, like, I remember people being so hype for fucking Boondock Saints 2 when that came out. Like, they had a huge screening at the
Was that
AMC
a
Lowe's
fucking-
on the
Was
Common.
that a Kickstarted movie?
It felt like it. It
Yeah.
felt like it
Oh,
didn't make a splash
no.
anywhere but in, like, not even grander Boston, just like
Yeah.
by
Just
the
the-
Common.
Yeah.
But yeah, God, one of the most cursed things I ever did was I went to New Orleans, and my friend was like, "Yeah, check out this bar," and I was like, "Okay." I went there. I was like, "What is this place?" And they were like, "Oh yeah, so it's a bar based on the Boondock Saints. It's owned by cops."
Did
Well,
you?
isn't there that fucking bar in Manhattan that's
Durden.
Fight
It
Club
closed. No, I used
It
to live right
closed?
there. There used to be. It was there for like I went there 4 years ago. There was a stand-up show there, and I was like, "This place sucks." And then I never went again. And then I moved into that neighborhood, and it was still there. And it was like every day there was a buy one get one happy hour for like 6 hours.
Oh
Oh
my
my
God.
Well, it's like
That's
the
such
thing,
a
the thing I
bummer.
remember is like, weren't the bathrooms in that place labeled like Tyler
Yeah.
and Maria?
Oh
that-
The
God.
bartender behind that was working there. I went in there because I was unemployed, and it was the cheapest drink in town. And
Beautiful.
and she was like, "Yeah, I used to work at this bar in Florida. You may have seen it. Was on Bar Rescue. It was the one where everybody was pirates."
I've seen that
yeah,
one.
she used. I was like, "What a leap!
That's a
What a resume!"
that's a
bar
famous-
have."
that is like
So
a
you
Mount
also-
Rushmore bar rescue episode,
bar-
the pirate bar.
I gotta
Rescue
watch that. That
fucking
sounds
rules.
awesome. It's
oh
on
my
Netflix.
God.
Where is it? How do you watch Bar
Well, it's
Rescue?
like it's great because like
on
he takes this like fucking pirate bar where it's just like all the fucking like people who work at staff are like these 50-year-old like leathery like cosplay enthusiasts
yeah,
essentially.
and they're all
Like, Like they made this like bar for their passion about dressing up as a pirate,
Uh-huh.
essentially. And like John Taffer's like, "Nah, here's what you're gonna do," and he like makes it chrome and like all the
He
fucking seats are, like
literally-
pinballs or some shit.
he literally names it corporate. And he
Oh my
redesigned
God.
the bar for business people and calls it corporate.
That's
and he makes
so- That's so fucking awesome.
It is the most
Oh
biggest
my
fuck you in
God.
the history
Yeah,
of that show.
it's insane.
Like the woman who owns is like, this is all about, being who you want to be and being free spirit and living your life and having fun and drinks with your friends. And he changes it to corporate. And then it's like, it ends and they're like having a good night. And then the title card's like, she changed it back to a pirate bar. Bar Rescue is the most ridiculous show. Have you ever noticed that every single person they get, like, not like the bar people, but like his cronies, like his food person and his cocktail person, everybody is just sort of like weird on camera. Like none of them feel at all natural
yeah,
on camera.
right.
Like he hasn't had one charismatic person.
Well, yeah, because
in
they're
his
just like
orbit.
probably like restaurant industry people, and meanwhile, like this guy's like pivoted his entire career just being like guy who yells on the TV.
Yeah. Now the later
Like they
seasons,
probably they probably didn't learn how to do like fucking on camera work in like mixology school and shit.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're all like they all have like slightly frozen eyes when they're on camera.
So yeah, I'm gonna teach you how to make a good screwdriver.
Speaking of cursed bars, I went to one called Kill Bar in Williamsburg, and it was a Tarantino themed bar, which it got like a write up in Time Out, which I was like, okay, this will be good. I go there, it's so bad. It was like comically horrible. Like it was like
no.
it felt just like it's like one of those places that was like, oh, this used to be like a shop, but not in a cool way. Just like used to be like didn't have a bar aesthetic, and all they had was like a poster of Uma Thurman and like a couple like dumb shit, and they were all like, "Yeah, we got cocktails, dark and stormy. That's about it." And I'm like,
Also, I
it was
didn't
so.
I'm not like talking shit on a lot of these movies because I do love a lot of these movies, but also like before you start a movie themed bar, you should like wait till you're 40 and check in on which movies you're most psyched about in general. Like
Absolutely.
Yeah, just like, oh, I'm 43 and I kind of want to start a Kramer versus Kramer bar.
That one would get there. That one would make a killing. Just divorced people going to drink.
They're gonna love my broadcast news themed bar.
Amadeus.
Yeah.
That's the theme bar I would go to.
Yeah, the King's Speech theme bar.
An Amadeus bar would be a party. I watched Amadeus for the first time.
Never seen it. Never seen it.
Oh, it's so good.
Brendan Crick said it is the best movie ever made about stand-up comedy.
that's not far off. One more thing about the Dern bar. The last time I went in there, and been in for a while, and I went in, I was like, to the bartender, I was like, "Oh, you guys are still here, huh?" And she goes, like she said it like it was a point of pride. She goes, "Yeah, the guy who played McLovin was in here last night. He told everybody to go fuck themselves."
Dude, I was at a party with McLovin. He was like insane. He was like a party bro. Like he was like an aggressive bro guy.
Oh,
Like
no.
he was like wasted. He was like, "Fuck yeah, dude, we're fun, fucked up." Like he's
like a genial one.
yeah, no, he wasn't being like he wasn't being mean, but it was like, oh, this is just like a rowdy dickhead. But it was McLovin.
Makes sense for him.
Damn.
Which is not a bad. I mean, I don't know him personally. I didn't
I
even
hope
talk
he's
to
having
him.
a nice time of it.
I also saw Max Landis at a party one time,
Oh,
and I was like,
no.
this guy looks like a douchebag, and I was right. But I wanted to be a part of.
before all the shit went down.
Yeah, way before. I wanted to be a part of his friend group. I knew like a bunch of people in that friend group, and there were a lot of hot like nerd girls.
The
in there.
friend
I was
group.
like, God damn.
I read one of those articles about him. The friend group is like a whole.
Yeah, the
aspect
Color
of the
Society.
thing.
Yeah, I knew that guy. I probably shouldn't mention this on the podcast. I'll cut it out, but I'll tell you. That guy who's like the ex best friend of Max, who like just dumps a bunch of shit on him. I knew that guy like pretty well. Anyway, we'll wrap this up soon. I just wanted to do 3 more things about Scorsese. Sorry. Mean Streets is great. Taxi Driver's great. New York. Here's a funny fact. Did you know that? So New York. It blows people's minds when Frank Sinatra did not originally sing New York. And it was not made in like the 40s it was made in the fucking 70s for the movie New York.
Oh shit.
And so the original is the Liza Minnelli version.
It was written. I thought that
Dude,
was.
Frank Sinatra's still like pumping out big songs in like the 80s.
That was his last big hit was New York. But everyone thinks it's from like
Well,
the
they
50s.
playing at the fucking Jakey's games when they
Yeah.
won.
But the original version is fucking Liza Minnelli for the movie.
Fuck.
Is that crazy?
Is that I'm like I got like so many blind spots I'm revealing on this fucking podcast. Is New York like good? Because I see some people like really go to bat for it.
It's a really good mess. It doesn't quite come together, but I really like it because the parts are all very good, I think.
Hell
I
yeah.
haven't seen
I
it
love
either.
fucking messy movies.
It's a big ornate mess, and overall probably a failure, but there's so much great shit individually in there, and it's like clearly Marty just out of his mind, young filmmaker, like too much money. Like there's a lot of hubris on screen, which I love.
Hell yeah.
And-
I love that shit.
Nice.
Yeah, and the big performance of Liza Minnelli singing New York is actually really good and very powerful. Like the last 10 minutes are awesome, are really really good.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
Yeah, Bobby De Niro's playing a sex guy in it, right?
Yeah,
Saxophone player.
that's the thing. It's also
I'm in for that. Like just old New York De Niro in a suit playing the saxophone.
yeah,
Like,
it's. I mean, it's great for that reason. It's like oh shit. It's like finding a $20 bill in your pocket. Like oh shit, an old De Niro performance with Scorsese in the old New York.
Yeah.
Young De Niro. This fucking rule. Yeah.
the one I've got left, I think, that I haven't seen.
Yeah, that's a $20 bill with Clarence Clemens' face on it from the Street Band, baby.
Yeah.
Saxophone.
I rewatched Raging Bull, and it's
I
funny
know
how
Clarence
un-Scorsese-ish that movie is.
Raging Bull's amazing.
It's great.
It's-
No frills.
I didn't like
No.
it as a kid, but as an adult, I really think it's amazing.
My
That's
dad
probably
went on a
number
date with
2
her.
for me. Raging Bull.
I mean, because it's not a boxing movie. It's a movie about relationships deteriorating and just like the biggest piece of shit. I can't believe they made a biopic about a guy. And this must have been revolutionary at the time, but it still holds up as crazy. They made a biopic about a guy, and the whole time he's a dickhead. Like
Yeah,
a
he's like a
total
fucking
piece of
monster.
shit. He's a
Yeah, he's a
monster.
bad
Dude,
Dude.
I heard like there's a fucking like this is insane to me, and like I just know it exists, but I haven't heard it. But like in the 2000s, they released a DVD for Raging Bull where there's a commentary by the fucking guy,
Really?
Jake LaMotta.
Oh my
Dude,
god.
that's
Is
got to be the
it
best
nuts?
commentary
Is it
since
nuts
Robert
and
Durst.
unhinged?
I hear he's like just real sad sounding.
Oh no.
Well, he's so sad at the end. I mean, it really reveals that the saddest thing he can do is bar shows as a stand-up comic, because that's like his rock bottom is doing like bar shows at the end.
Yeah. An accurate depiction of how easy this art form is, though.
Yeah, he really crushed a lot of shows. I mean, dude, that last 20 minutes is so cringe and depressing, but it's an amazing movie. I mean, but also
That's just like fucking. It's so just like a bunch of like people, like young people in New York, being like, "Oh man, that movie from 1980 is so cringe, dude."
sorry, I'm not very good at criticism, but there's also
I'm not saying I say shit like that. All the
it's
time.
a Scorsese. It's very stylized, but in the opposite way of what he usually does. There's no modern music; it's all classical music, and it's black and
Animal
white.
noises.
Yeah, and it's like shot very simply. Like it's very simply shot a lot, except for the fight scenes. But it's just like it's very interesting. Like it's not his signature at all, but it's one of his signature movies.
Oh yeah, it's
And he
like,
would never do anything like it again. Really, is this interesting?
No, I mean, like I think part of the appeal of that movie was like he was like kind of running high on the success of like Taxi Driver and all that shit. And then he like decided to like scale it back and like make this small movie. It's interesting you make that before New York, instead of after with everything I know.
Oh yeah,
about it.
definitely. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, that is a good point.
He did the Michael Jackson Bad video. That's pretty cool.
That is cool.
that is actually sick. King of Comedy is just like the greatest
King of
fucking
Comedy is
shit
amazing.
ever.
Let's talk about
Yeah.
cringe. that
Yeah.
When De Niro's in Jerry Lewis's house and he finds him.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
God.
yeah.
That's
Well, you
the memory of watching that for the first time is the reason why I haven't watched it again since. I think the movie fucking rocks. But I can't. I'm anxious to watch that scene again.
Well, we want to talk
Makes me
about like De
squirm.
Niro going fucking Pacino. Like that movie
Yeah.
has some scenes. It's like, Ma, come on!
yeah, Ma, really a podcasting pioneer. I think that might be my favorite De Niro performance, or at least one of them. He's so, I mean, besides Travis Bickle, I don't know, I guess he's got so many.
The idea, like, so many comics love that movie. It's got like a cop being like, "Yeah, I love Serpico."
yeah. But it's a movie about how comics are psychopaths, and a lot of
Yeah.
people are like, that's me in there. So do you guys think Scorsese's ever had any duds, like any ones that you think are like not good? I think he's got a pretty goddamn close to flawless filmography.
I mean, a lot of what most of what I've seen has been like fucking good. I used to like when I was going through like a pretentious phase, like in like college and shit. I was like, "Oh, The Departed's actually like pretty bad," but no, it's like good.
It's great.
Departed
It's
is
so
like
much
a
fun.
blast.
Well, it's like him making just like a fun movie.
Yeah.
It's like him being like, "All right, now let's do a fun one."
Yeah. It
Yeah.
feels like a one foot, like, let's all have fun.
Also, one of my favorite deaths in a fucking movie is Martin Sheen in The Departed.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
like if you remember, like he tries to like get a quip out, and he's just like he tries to like get a joke out, like fucking like Avengers, like Joss Whedon style dialogue. Where he's like, "Hey guys, got a light?" And before he can finish, they just grab him. And he's like, "Oh shit!" Like it's fucking the best.
Someone called online, and I hate to repeat, but it was so funny. Someone called like Joss Whedon Avenger style dialogue as like soy talk, which is. Oh man, say what you will about those alt-right guys, but they're pretty funny with names, with names of things.
It's just,
How do we feel about Shutter Island?
I like Shutter Island.
I hear haven't seen it. A lot of people shit talk it though. I've
It's
heard a
the
lot.
closest one of his to a not great movie. But
I've heard a
it's-
lot of people like pick that one out as like that's a Scorsese movie I don't like.
I like it. I mean, it's like kind of it's kind of schlocky.
The one to me that is the most like anybody could have made this. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
he's a little director
Still-
for hire on it.
Leo's fun in it.
And I like horror. It's like a good horror
Yeah,
movie.
it's
Like
solid.
it's another one of him.
That
being-
is true. It's like Scorsese doing a horror movie, which like fucking hearing just that sentence, I'm surprised I didn't watch it like yesterday.
Yeah, you should check it out. It's
Yeah.
kind of like Kubrick. He's kind of like showing like I can do different genres.
I'm probably gonna watch New York next though. Like I think
It's
like,
worth watching.
Like high time that.
yeah.
I've got a good feeling about.
More
this one,
people
boys.
should watch New York. I do like it quite a bit. I think it's a
I'm
little.
gonna watch it.
It's
soon.
underrated.
Well, I mean, like everyone's like so like fucking obsessed with like discussing movies like with the fucking auteur theory like
Yeah.
these days. Like everyone like follows like directors like they're like baseball players.
Yeah.
The idea of like Scorsese's like weird ego movie like should sound enthralling to people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The problem is there's just a lot that doesn't like come together. But yeah, totally. Like the opening scene's just like hundreds of extras dressed in like Navy outfits.
Oh my fucking god.
Yeah.
In all the way in.
I watch it and it's just La La Land. I'm like, this sucks. What the fuck?
City of Stars. City of Stars. All the dreams are gonna come true. That's another movie that really lies to you.
What was that?
Well, I mean, anyway. You know who was originally supposed to play Jack Nicholson's part in Departed? Was Pacino.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense when you watch the movie.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Just when I think I'm out, they pull me back in.
That's so fucking. Oh man, I'm so sorry getting back on this. I know this comment's probably been just made probably on other podcasts before, but yo, Pacino Joker. Make it happen. Hollywood.
Why so serious? You crash a bus, nobody cares. Soldier die, everyone cries. Why do we do that?
It'd be timid Godfather 1 Pacino up until he becomes the Joker, and then it'd just be.
Oh,
You really Johnny Carson style set me up for that. Pacino Joker.
Pacino Joker riff. Here it goes. You want to know how I got this greatest?
Beautiful.
There we go. I'm satisfied.
Have you guys watched any of Scorsese's like music documentaries? Because he pumps them out like pretty frequently.
Last Waltz.
Last Waltz is great.
You know, came out with the Dylan one this year. Nobody talked about it. It's on Netflix.
Well, I saw some. That was when I saw some like backlash to like, ugh, boring. He's making a movie about like Bob Dylan. It's like, what do you want him to make a fucking movie about Imagine Dragons?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, like that's the shit he likes.
Yes.
Radioactive. The Radioactive.
Now every 3 months I get myself geared up to watch the George Harrison one, and then I don't.
Oh yeah, I forgot he did that.
Do you do that?
Yeah, he's also doing another one about 70s New York music coming out also next year.
Like punk stuff?
I don't know. It just said 70s New York underground
he,
music scene.
Did he produce that HBO show that's just
Vinyl?
Yeah,
and he
just
directed
about,
the
like, punk
pilot.
scene in the 70s.
Ray Romano was in that too.
I heard that's bad. Have you guys seen it?
I hear it's not great. My dad, who
Also
watches
heard
every
it's bad.
HBO show, said, "Yeah,
That's fat. Yeah, that sucks because
It's
it
good
could.
to have an HBO loyalist in the family.
oh
I've
my
got an
da-
uncle like that.
oh,
Just
my
every single
My
one
dad
of
just loves like prestige television. Like it's
Yeah.
fun. It's funny because like he just like watched every show that was like on like any pay channel, and like I remember he was just like, "Sonny, have you seen Party Down?" I was
Yeah.
like, yes. Like my dad just like became inexplicably an alt comedy fan just because it was on Stars.
That's so funny.
That's fun. That is funny.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Son, please halt and catch fire.
I got my mom asked me. I watched the Americans pilot with her, and I think she liked it. She wants to watch it again.
My
My
people
parents
love
are-
that fucking show. I haven't seen it.
I watched the first 2 episodes. I thought it was fine.
My mom and her boyfriend are the opposite. They've been watching NCIS for 9 years.
Oh, my grandma loves that. That's what's so funny is like, is like I was thinking about this. All these cable, like Comedy Central and stuff, they're trying to still get like 18 to 25-year-olds, like they're like who don't watch TV. Like
Yeah.
the best way to get ratings is just go full for old people now. You know what I mean? Like
People who still have like TV in their like routine and shit.
yeah, exactly. People who still like watch TV a lot. That's why like cable news is killing it, and like CBS is crushing, and like comedy like Detroiters is failing, even though it's probably a great show. I haven't seen it, but
It's failed entirely. It's been canceled.
yeah, exactly.
Unfortunately, because that was one of my favorite shows.
So good.
Yeah, and it's like, but it's like, or
I shouldn't say it's failed entirely.
not Detroiters.
It made a lot of people
The-
happy.
Comedy Central made some show about
No,
some,
it's a failure. Sorry, I'm the cold business mind of this podcast.
yeah, but that's
I'm
what I'm saying.
changing your pirate bard.
Yeah, I'd be the worst
fucking
TV
the
executive.
corporate.
Hey, well, it made a lot of people happy.
Well, the idea like behind going for young people is like, well, we'll have ads on, and young people haven't bought anything yet, so the ads what's going to target the young people because they're the ones still setting their buying habits. But now young people don't watch anything with ads, so just fucking go for old people. They're the only ones who are going to like watch typical ads, you know. Whatever. Anyway, I don't
No,
mean
what you're saying is like 100% right.
yeah.
For
So,
sure.
so I think comedy. I mean, I don't know.
They gotta give the Smothers Brothers another show on Comedy
But
Central.
that's the thing, yeah, Comedy Central's like
Watch the
competing
living
with
shit out of
Twitter.
that.
That's why it's like so bad now. Like they're like going after Twitter, you know? Anyway, whatever. Who cares? I'm bitter. That's it. That's basically what I meant by that. So thank
Well,
God.
he had us rank comedians earlier.
Yeah. Hey, why do they suck? Why does Ray Romano suck ass? I guess that's. Do we have any closing thoughts, gang? Any parting?
Really good fucking movie. Still liked Ant-Man better.
Adam McKay told Scorsese to watch Thor Ragnarok.
I can end with a quick anecdote about one time that I met Al Pacino.
Oh shit!
Please do.
My dream.
He was in The Merchant of Venice on Broadway, and I used to, when I was younger, high school Frank, much like De Niro and King of Comedy, I made a hobby of. I'm fairly embarrassed by this now. I would hang around like stage doors and get autographs and shit.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went to Merchant of Venice to meet Al Pacino, and I had a thing for him to sign. He's very nice.
Yeah.
If you meet him.
Hell yeah.
That's awesome.
And I was wearing a Silence of the Lambs T-shirt, which I don't know why I was doing that. That's it's a weird, creepy thing to wear. It was just a poster on a T-shirt.
That's fine. That's just a fucking movie a lot of people like.
Yeah, I suppose so. I don't know where I got it. Anyways,
No, let me interrupt your story.
And look at you now wearing a Scorsese shirt. What?
I only wear themed T-shirts. He came out of the stage or whatever, and then he signed my thing, and I was like, hey, it's cool to meet you, Mr. Pacino. And then like I did like a handshake hand, and he went over the top, like dive bombed his hand into mine, and then he pulled himself in real close, and he looked at my shirt. He goes, "Is that me?" And I was like, "What? No, it's Anthony Hopkins. It's Silence of the Lambs." So he goes, "Ha!"
All right, I don't know why I'm telling this story. This is not related to anything, but one time at the Comedy Studio in Cambridge, Massachusetts.
Beautiful. Shouts out Rick Jenkins.
Mark
Yes.
Maron was there,
Oh, boy.
and I was just hanging out by the bathroom, just like talking to somebody or like checking my phone or something. I was like hanging out right next to the bathroom. Mark Maron walked by me, and very quietly he said, so I know he was like saying it specifically to me. He very quietly said, "Nah, I gotta pee."
I met
Yeah,
Mark
I think you told me
Maron.
that before.
I met Mark.
that sounds familiar.
I met Mark Maron at the Wilbur. He's all that guy loves Boston. I saw you back in Boston.
Is that me?
I got that poster signed in Boston one time.
Oh,
you got
shit.
the Boomer
Yeah.
Lives.
Boomer lives.
It is so.
And
That's a cool poster.
I need to smash it because he threw Louis C.K. under the bus.
Did he do that?
I didn't really throw him under the bus, but he was like, "Yeah, please don't associate me with him anymore." Anyway, let's move on.
Oh boy.
Yeah, he
like
didn't.
big subs.
That's what happens when you don't skip to the interview.
It was a good one. You should check. You should
No, I
you
don't,
defended
I
him.
don't tend to skip the interview.
Yeah. Norton.
I don't tend to skip to the interview.
Yeah. Bill Burr went. Anyway, we don't need to get into that. Okay. Yeah. Oh, I met Danny DeVito when I was a kid. Like so young though. I was at the Matilda premiere, and I was so young that I thought he was just his character in the movie. So I was really scared of him because I like to read, and he in his movie
thought
like
Matilda
tears
was a
up books.
documentary.
Yeah. I was like, this guy would hate me because I identified with Matilda. All right,
It
guys.
would be weirder if you identified with anybody else in that movie when you were a kid.
Well, now I identify with Danny DeVito. I fucking hate books and overachievers. And Matilda definitely grew up to be like one of those comedy journalist bloggers.
I think the actress. I think she literally is a.
Oh yeah, Mara Wilson.
Yeah.
Hell yeah! All right, I called that
Boy.
retroactively. Okay. Anything to plug?
Andrew Durso on Twitter. He'll probably be tagged in this episode when you post it.
Yeah.
There you go.
I would also like to plug Andrew's Twitter. Don't waste your time on mine. I would also like to plug The Irishman.
I'm
and-
plugging Frank's Twitter.
No.
Oh
It's
yeah,
great.
Durso has a very high engagement Twitter.
Nah, it's good time.
Yeah.
And I would also like to plug the Bruce Dern episode of the WTF podcast with Mark Maron. It's very good.
I'd like to plug the Louis episode of WTF Mark Maron classic.
I'd like to
we asked
plug
you
a
not
little
to.
film called The Irishman.
Yeah. Let's plug The Irishman. Definitely, if you made it all the way through this and you don't plan on watching it, allow me to throw in my 2 cents and say, check it out.
When they kept saying there's a scene where he shoots Robert De Niro on a talk show?
All right. Thank you all, everybody. Goodbye.